cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
A new medical study on the effects of marijuana use confirms that everyone knows you're high and that you'll never stop feeling like this.
Everyone can smell the marijuana on your breath and on your clothes. Everyone is laughing at you.
Additionally, the in-depth report reveals that despite trying to act cool, you're definitely laughing too much and everyone is messing with you.
Your parents know you're high. Your friends know you're high. Strangers on the street know you're high. If you're young and you smoke marijuana, you will probably never be able to find a job. And if you're an adult, you will most likely be fired. If you hear a noise, that's probably the police, and you're probably going to jail.
While previous studies suggested that it's all good and that we're all made of the same stuff that makes stars, new research indicates that your brain got broken and you shouldn't have done this. Doctors say the study raises important questions such as, what if that wasn't just marijuana and how are you going to get home?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live? Free Talk Live. How many ways can you inflect the Free Talk Live moniker?
I don't know, but that's why you get paid the big bucks.
This is big bucks. I hate to see what little bucks is. The telephone number here in the studio, if you would like to join us, is 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. It is the Thursday night edition of Free Talk Live. We've changed up the personnel once again on Thursday nights. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass, joining me.
Matt.
And Ian.
And you're only Matty Matt when Richie Rich is here.
Correct.
Ah, okay.
When he's not here, you're just Matt.
That's correct.
All right.
I'm sure I will screw that up at some point and call myself
I was
Matty
doing it because I was sure I'm going to screw it up as well. There's no Ian.
Nah, I'm pretty dull with all that.
Well, and it doesn't really sound good either if you put it like an E between your name twice. So I did joke around with Ian. I don't know if I've talked to you in a couple of days, but I suggested he change his legal name from Ian Freeman to Les Freeman.
Oh, that's awesome.
He didn't seem enthused.
That
he
should
laughed,
happen.
but he didn't.
I agree.
You know,
Let's force it.
At least until the case is dropped.
That'd be nice. I appreciate your optimism.
High hopes, low expectations. Yeah. That's my new motto for, well, anything involving anybody that's involved with government in any way, shape, or form. I want to just mention briefly that today is a very special holiday that many of our listeners have, maybe they've heard of, but probably not. June 2nd, 1975, hundreds and then thousands of people, mostly women, many of them sex workers, began occupying churches all over France. They started in the Church of Saint Nizier, I'm sure I'm butchering that, in line with full-throated support of Father Louis Blanc, who was quoted saying at the time, "It is, after all, Mary Magdalene to whom Jesus appeared." From that day on, June 2nd was marked as International Whores Day.
Wow, they didn't even use the term prostitute.
No, International Whores, WHORES Day. Now, we know as libertarian type folk, or at least, you know, that type of ilk, that this is the oldest work on the planet.
Absolute
So
free
they
market
say.
capitalists.
Completely free market in every way, shape, or form, even where it's like legalized, quote unquote.
God bless them.
It's still, and you know, they do deserve some respect.
Absolutely.
For continuing on the oldest form of employment known to man, the oldest traceable form of employment anyway.
And high risk, too.
Very
Big
high
time.
risk.
From not only from being arrested, but obviously sexually transmitted diseases, abusive johns. Not a very, low risk business.
Definitely not. And so,
But they get paid well, or at least they should.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
So without going through this article, which isn't really all that interesting, other than to say they kind of go through the history of like sex workers and, who signed what and, a bunch of government stuff. But the final...
Well, I wonder what the earliest recorded history of a sex worker is. How far back do you have to go?
I don't know. But from what I've been told, if you're going back and looking at the history of just what have people done for a living,
that's one of the oldest.
That's it's the first entry.
Yeah.
If there were a ledger of what folks have done for a living, if the day they started it, that would have been the first entry, is what I'm told.
And still prosecuted across probably most jurisdictions in the world to this day.
Sadly,
as though that
senselessly.
Yeah, and it's a perfect example that a war on something has never succeeded in eliminating that thing, whether it be the war on drugs or the war on poverty or whatever. They've had a war on prostitution going on for centuries, and it's still happening. You're never going to get rid of it, because as long as people are demanding the thing, whether it be drugs or sex or whatever, somebody's gonna be willing to take the risk. Even if it's the risk of death, even if they were to make prostitution a punishable, crime punishable by death, you would still have some very likely tough women that would be the prostitutes in that case.
Well, and if our friend Nobody were not, being held hostage, he would say something like, it's funny how something that you can give away for free, you can't sell.
Yeah. Well, that's true with generally anything. I mean, the government is usually fine if you want to give somebody a haircut for free, but as soon as you charge them for the haircut, then all of a sudden you need 1,000 hours of training. You need to sit, and get some government paperwork.
Most importantly, you got to give them their cut.
Right, the fees. Yeah.
You can't be making any money without us getting a cut.
That's what they really want.
That's right.
What they really, really want. Anyway. Whores, this is just the last paragraph. Whores are a part of a very long history. June 2nd is not marked by many, and the occupation of Saint Nitzier has been forgotten by most. But sex workers and our allies have kept these memories alive, translating and preserving the international headlines, documentaries, and books that have and continue to be written for each other across generations. Now is the moment in history when whores can be heard, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly true now more so than ever. I mean, with the internet, there are more organizations of sex workers out there. They now have the ability to speak out in a more meaningful way. Like even here in New Hampshire, where it is still a crime, quote unquote, to participate as either a prostitute or a John. We have seen some bills introduced over the last several years that would decriminalize various different aspects of this so-called crime. And we've seen sex workers, people like representatives of sex workers. So they'll have a sex worker come in from like a different state. So they're not working in New Hampshire. So that way they really can't be, investigated
right.
In any meaningful sense.
Well, that makes sense, because one of the things in this article was that I think it was Massachusetts said they wouldn't prosecute cases from New Hampshire, for example, where I think is what you're talking, where they live somewhere else, but they cross over to work here or something like that.
Yeah. So they'll send in whatever sex workers union boss or something. And she'll speak to,
it was Manhattan in April of 2021. Manhattan's DA announced they will no longer be prosecuting prostitution arrests. Maybe I read this wrong.
I think that's just in the city of Manhattan.
That's just the city of Manhattan. It says Rhode Island, Louisiana, D.C., New Hampshire, Vermont, Nevada, California, Washington, Oregon, and Florida all have increasingly visible and effective sex worker rights advocates regularly lobbying their elected officials. So,
but you're saying Manhattan has decriminalized it?
It says Manhattan DA announced they will no longer be prosecuting prostitution arrests.
That's interesting.
That's fantastic.
It doesn't mean they won't be making the arrests.
Right.
And this is the problem that I have with some of the marijuana legislation as well, because in some of the states where people call it, it's been decriminalized. No, it hasn't. They're just not going to prosecute.
Well, I mean, that is decriminalization. I mean, if you can't be prosecuted for a thing.
Well, it's not you can't. It's just that they're not gonna.
Okay.
Well, there's a problem there, too.
I mean, at any time they can change their mind and start prosecuting again.
If they decriminalize prostitution in Manhattan, that's really going to put a dent in the pocketbook of a lot of the cops who do the pimp work there. I bet the police aren't going to like that on a couple levels.
Well, I mean, good from my
High
perspective.
five. Way to go, prostitutes. Get those guys out of your life.
Yeah.
But only Manhattan, not the rest of New York City.
Manhattan's.
It's a start.
Yeah.
And Manhattan's huge.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, well, and again, it says they'll no longer be prosecuting prostitution arrests.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean they won't, continue to do sting operations to catch Johns, that kind of thing. All these police agencies do this kind of thing where they get like the hottest female cop in the department to dress all slutty and go out and try and trap some people. And then when they offer cash, you're under arrest, buddy.
It's so sad.
It's like, really? It's funny because to finish my statement of what nobody would have said, he would have said it's funny that you can give away something for free, but you can't sell it. But then if you just say that you're going to make a movie and then pay that person to be in a movie and you got some cameras set up, why, that's fine.
As I understand it, that is only fine in California and New Hampshire. Now, I'm not giving legal advice, but that's my understanding of the legal situation. So that may not be fine in the other 48 states.
So you whores need to do your homework if, that's how you're going to proceed with doing stuff. 603-283-6160. Are you celebrating International Whores Day today? More Free Talk Live is coming up with me, Matt, and Ian.
The Terran Federation and the Terran League have been killing each other for decades. Sheltered, wealthy, and light years from the threat, the members of the 500 have no interest in changing that. When Rear Admiral Terrence Murphy is given governorship of a backwater system, a risk-free path to wealth and power is his for the taking. But Murphy is a man of honor, duty, and responsibility. He intends to stop the killing, whatever the cost. Governor, by David Weber and Richard Fox, from BaneBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
On March 16th of this year, a joint government task force raided the New Hampshire Bitcoin Embassy, the Mighty Moose Mart, the homes of Aria DiMezzo, Andy and Renee Spinella, Colleen Fordham, a grandmother, and perhaps most relevant, the studios of Free Talk Live. The Crypto Six were arrested, most were released, but Rich Paul, also known as Nobody, and Ian Freeman both remain in custody. We've been in contact with attorneys that say no crime even appears to have been committed, but that didn't stop the Joint Thug Task Force from ripping out wires from the back of our broadcast stacks, taking Free Talk Live off the air, violating our and your First Amendment rights. You can go to thecrypto6.com and donate to fight against these charges. But as importantly, contact media and tell them about this outrage. This case is likely to set precedent for the use of cryptocurrency well into the future. Help our fight for liberty and financial freedom at thecrypto6.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Breaking weather news. Belize is sunny and around 82 degrees every day this week.
What's the forecast for your life? If current politics and economic prospects are cramping your freedom, escape to the tropics. ECI Development has affordable second homes for you to own or rent in Belize and other tropical countries. Places with stable governments and growing economies. Secure your freedom now. To find out more, send an email to ftl@ecidevelopment.com.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live.
Yes, it's Lee Froctive.
Oh boy.
Wait, is it T Lock Frive? Nope. We'll get it right. Hang on. Free Talk Live. There we go. Got it.
A vacation.
I probably need several vacations. It is Free Talk Live. The telephone number, if you want to get your voice on the radio, talk about whatever's on your mind, you must call the following number. 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass. Joining me,
Matt.
And Ian.
So the previous segment, we were talking about it's International Whores Day. And so if you want to celebrate that, feel free. Also, if you are a whore and you want to call in, feel free. 603-283-6160, because it's your day. Right?
Indeed. We'd love to hear from you. Actually, some of the most interesting phone calls that we've ever had have come from prostitutes.
Well, especially if you're an international whore. Mm-hmm. We want to hear from you because it's International Whores Day.
Does that mean you cross borders to have sex with people?
I don't know if that excludes local whores or not. But I would say, that the celebration is supposed to be international, and thus it is Whores Day, so it doesn't matter where the whores are. Because, like International House of Pancakes, I mean, have you ever seen one in another country?
I haven't traveled too extensively, so no.
I don't know where they get the international part from. They should just
that's a good question.
They should just be called HOP instead of IHOP.
Well, as long as they have at least one Mexican or Canadian location, technically that would qualify.
I guess. They probably do. They probably got like one location in Canada.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. Yeah. Or one in Cabo or something, right? Where all the tourists go.
When I was in Mexico, I did see Domino's Pizza down there. So there's a lot of international brands that, are here primarily in the United States, but exist elsewhere. I'm told, though, they make their pizzas differently, though, in Mexico.
Is there a Taco Bell in Mexico?
No, I didn't see that.
I hope not.
I hope not either. Yeah.
And if so, are they primarily staffed by Asians?
I can't imagine Taco Bell would survive in Mexico when you're literally surrounded by taquerias everywhere that are amazing and super cheap.
Yeah.
That said, when I was in Mexico, we went down to Isla Mujeres, right off the coast of Cancun, back in February. Found this little hole in the wall taqueria. Best tacos I've ever had in my life by miles.
Oh, yeah.
And they were from Boston.
No, really?
No, I'm dead serious. I mean, they were Mexican people. They were born and raised in Mexico, but they had moved to Boston like 30 years ago and lived there for decades and just moved back.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Most delicious tacos I've ever had.
I wonder if they had a Mexican restaurant when they were in Boston.
Probably.
Possibly.
Or, sorry, Boston.
Maybe.
Say it right. I live in the New England area now.
Maybe they might have a website. Maybe I can look them up and find out what their bio says. Possibly.
It figures if they were the most delicious tacos that they probably would have been, Anyway, we're going to switch gears a little bit because this is something near and dear to, everybody's hearts, but this is coming from Cointelegraph. Former Congressman Ron Paul. Bitcoin is money and should be taxed the same. Now, I read that headline and I'm like, wait, what is he talking about?
I'm almost certain he didn't say any such thing.
Is he talking? So let's go on. I did read this article previously, so I kind of have an idea of what we're in for, and I'm still not sure. So you guys will see what I mean in a minute. Former Congressman Ron Paul believes Bitcoin should be regulated and taxed the same as money. I got a problem with that whole statement. Like, Ron Paul is supposed to be an anti-tax guy, near as I could tell. You know, taxation is theft, all that fun stuff, right? You know, he's into that kind of phrase. So I don't see how they can get former Congressman Ron Paul believes Bitcoin should be regulated and taxed the same as money. Former presidential candidate and Congressman Ron Paul has renewed calls for Bitcoin to be legalized as money and not taxed.
Okay, now that sounds like Ron Paul.
Yes.
So here's the article.
Which, by the way, I'm glad to hear Ron Paul commenting on crypto, because for a while he kind of stayed away from it. Like he's like, oh, that's interesting.
He's a gold standard guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's old school. He wants that gold standard.
Well, and that's the way I was before I finally learned about crypto. It was like my main question was, well, what's it backed by?
Yeah, you know what's funny is this means Ron Paul beat Peter Schiff to the
of course.
Unbelievable.
That's not unbelievable.
No, it's not.
Ron Paul beat a lot of people to, well, a lot
Peter Schiff has a financial interest in continuing to pimp gold.
True.
That's true. He does.
But the thing is, you know, you can still support both. Like, it doesn't have to be all in one.
Any good stockbroker is going to tell you to diversify, right? Come on, Schiff, get it together.
I wonder if they just left out the word "not" in a few
in the headline.
Yeah, in the headline and the the little whatever the tinier underneath that is.
Had to be a typo.
Could be.
Well, let's go on. Paul is a staunch libertarian and author of the Bitcoiner Favorite and the Fed, who has advocated for the legalization of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the past. The former congressman has also regularly taken aim against the Federal Reserve for its unchecked money printing since the pandemic began. Since whoever wrote this has no clue. Since well before the pandemic even began, is what it should say.
It's just they put it into overdrive last year when they got rid of the reserve requirements for banks.
Yeah.
And just printed up trillions of dollars.
Yeah, they just they didn't shift. They just left it in gear the whole time.
It's still going.
The money printer still going, yeah. Ahead of his appearance at the Miami Bitcoin conference on June 3rd, the 85-year-old spoke with streaming financial news provider Kitco News.
Now, hold on. Has Ron Paul spoken at a Bitcoin conference before, or is this a Ron Paul first? Because
it's got to be a first.
I wonder.
I would think he's spoken at a Bitcoin conference.
Well, okay,
before.
he's spoken at Anarchapulco. He did that at least a couple times because I was there.
Necessarily a Bitcoin conference.
Yeah, they have like a Bitcoin track. They have like a crypto track, so it's not a full-on crypto conference. So I mean, that's kind of a partial maybe, but yeah, I'm curious to know if he's ever been at another crypto conference.
Good question.
I can't search those, so I'm not allowed to find that question out. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to. I've got spy software going to be installed on my computer tomorrow.
Oh man!
Then you can start converting the watchers.
Oh yeah. Well, presumably they've been listening for a long time.
That's true. I wonder if any of them
hello, federal agents.
Yes, hello, federal agents. I wonder if any of if you're a federal agent assigned to monitor this show, give us a call at 603-283-6160. Let us know if anything we've said has sort of changed your mind on any topics that we talk about, whether it's cryptocurrency, the Federal Reserve, the non-aggression principle, all these things.
I hope so.
It wouldn't be the first time. It has happened.
It has happened, yeah.
They're just people, they made different choices.
Joe Bannister from the IRS. And
That's the one, yeah.
Sherry Peel Jackson was another one.
Locally, we had Brian Tan, who was a jailer here in Cheshire County, who quit his job and was the keynote speaker for the first Keenvention.
And in the spirit of that, as well as
Bradley Jardis, former cop here in New Hampshire for over 10 years.
Nice. In the spirit of that, as well as the spirit of the Bitcoin Gandhi walk that took place over the last 24 days, if you are a federal agent or any level of government, we invite you to put down your badge and join us in the quest for liberty, peace, freedom, and prosperity. 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live is on the way.
Carl Watner, longtime proponent of a voluntary society, died last December. You may have seen his articles published on his website, voluntarist.com, in his newsletter, The Voluntarist, the Mises Institute, or elsewhere over the last 40 years. His newest book, I Must Speak Out, Volume 2, The Best of the Voluntarist, is now available via Liberty Under Attack Publications. This 430-page second volume spans the years of 2000 through 2020 and includes articles by Carl Watner, Hans Hermann Hoppe, Carl Hess, Benjamin Tucker, George H. Smith, Lysander Spooner, Pete Eyre, Joyce Brand, and many others. I Must Speak Out is for the newly initiated, the veteran voluntarist, or anywhere in between. Buy the book now at libertyunderattack.com/voluntarist. For more great content on building a voluntary society and for Carl's extensive archives, check out voluntarist.com.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for Forkfest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Forkfest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and Forkfest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for Forkfest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow Forkfesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the Forkfest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party.
After a devastating war, the alien visitors were driven back, and their willing human collaborators were left behind to face the music. When Emma Jean Anderson's ex-lover springs her from prison, Nathan Foster and his 14-year-old nephew Ben are tasked with bringing the pair to justice. An easy enough job until they discover something is inside Emma Jean, and the fate of the planet hangs in the balance. The Family Business by Mike Coopery from BaneBooks.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
People are saying it could be a baby bump. Our senior celebrity correspondent, Tyler, is here. Tyler, you always have the inside dish. What's the deal?
She looks like she got fat, so she might have a baby in her tummy.
Oh? What else have you heard?
I heard she has a boyfriend, and they have sex.
That's right. You know, the Hollywood couple vacationed in Rome together just 2 months ago.
They had a big hotel room, and I can tell you what they did in it.
Spill it, Tyler.
He put his in her.
Hot. She is one lucky gal.
And she's going crazy.
Uh-oh, is stardom starting to wear on Emma?
Yeah, she's crazy and dumb. She put a carrot in her.
Whoa, do tell.
Yeah, she said, oh, this carrot's like my boyfriend's. I'm gonna rub it all over my. I'm so gross. Then she ate it like Bugs Bunny.
What a hot mess. Hey, Emma, get it together, girl. Tyler, you are breaking news as always.
This is the Onion News Network.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
It occurs to me that I can't think of a word that rhymes with hodl.
Orange. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't.
Yodel.
Yodel.
Hodl, yodel.
Nailed it.
Okay, all right.
Got it. Leave
Good
the
job.
Ian.
Well done. Give him a cookie.
Where?
As long as it's not
I'm ready.
as long as it's not a browser cookie.
Or a pot cookie. You can't do that one either.
Right. Not even Delta 8 either, right?
No,
Yeah.
sadly. It tests as THC.
Yeah, I figured as much. Well, You don't want to take any risks.
I'm
Especially
nailed to the X.
Yeah. It's
no,
But not
actually,
the ecstasy.
they'll let me have alcohol.
What?
So I can have the hardest drug, but I can't have any of the other ones.
Is it kind of like being married? That's what I'm told. Like, you have all these conditions. You can't do certain things. You can't go where you want to, when you want to. You have to constantly ask permission.
You have to ask Mark. He's the one who's married.
Where are my host manners? It is Free Talk Live, by the way, in case you were wondering who these random people are speaking, voices coming out of your speakers of your radio.
We were looking it up. We couldn't, Bonnie was doing some research for us. She couldn't find any examples of Ron Paul speaking at a Bitcoin conference, except for this one this weekend.
I looked briefly. There's clips of him saying stuff about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but I couldn't tell if any of them were at a conference or not. There's a bunch of videos. I just decided to look myself because sometimes it takes two to make awesome Google foo.
I think it's great news. I mean, Ron Paul for years has sort of been like, he's acknowledged Bitcoin as an alternative, as a thing. Like, he hasn't ignored it. People have certainly asked him plenty of questions over the last decade about it, but I've never heard him like truly step forward into a position like this of speaking at a Bitcoin conference. Obviously, we don't know what his topic is going to be. I imagine it's going to be sound money. And so it'll be interesting to see if Ron Paul has sort of come along and is a little bit more embracing towards cryptocurrency as an alternative to the government money.
He has some fundamental economic arguments against cryptocurrency, whether, he has a strict definition of what is money. If you want to go
there's
by
an argument that cryptocurrency isn't yet money.
Right, yeah. And he's correct in that. Yeah. And that's fine with me.
It meets some of the definitions of money, but it doesn't meet like stability. That's an important one that it doesn't meet.
What, crypto?
Correct.
It exceeds the definition of money because not only does it meet the criteria for money, it exceeds that because.
But it doesn't meet all of them.
What doesn't?
Yeah,
it doesn't meet stability. It meets divisibility.
Divisibility, durability.
It's durable. Yep. There's one other that I'm
fungibility.
Fungible. Some of them are but not all of them are fungible.
Right.
So Bitcoin is not fungible.
Right.
The privacy cryptos are, but it is not stable. Price is constantly in flux. The value of it is constantly in flux.
And I think we'll see that start to change as time goes on.
That's what people believe, is that eventually Bitcoin will find its value. The market will find a more stable value for Bitcoin.
Yeah, we were talking to a guy today who was worried about was Simon,
There's a reporter here.
Yeah, there's a reporter here today, and he was asking a bunch of questions about cryptocurrency. He was actually bringing up stability too, which is something that made him wary of it. I think stability is going to come in its usage, and I think stability will definitely come when people stop measuring it in dollars.
Yeah,
we've been saying that forever. And well, he said, what are we going to measure it in? I said, we're going to measure it in Satoshis.
Yes, measure it in itself.
Or measure it in what it can buy.
Or measure it in what it can buy. But we just have to find something that has a stable price over time and, a stable value over time. What is that object, though?
Could theoretically measure it in gold.
Well, gold.
Yeah, but even that.
The problem there is gold, as we know it today. The value of gold is set by spot price, and that's based on contracts, not on actual gold.
Some of the gold that the government stole from the church here in our studio was purchased. 1 ounce was like 4.5 Bitcoin when it was purchased.
Right
now, 1 ounce is like a fifth of a Bitcoin.
Right.
Or at least it was before. And now it's probably more than a fifth of a Bitcoin. That was the price 2 months ago before I went to jail. So it's probably like 2/5 of a.
I'm not saying you can tie the two together, but if you wanted an alternative to measure it against, that's certainly something I believe it's available even on most exchanges. They'll show you the price of gold versus the price of Bitcoin.
That's one of the things I had done on my phone prior to the getting arrested was I had the ounce price the price of Bitcoin denominated in ounces of gold.
Nice.
Because you can get these little Bitcoin widgets, ticker widgets, where you can put the price of whatever crypto you want on your phone's desktop. And usually you're looking at it in either dollars, or if you're looking at other cryptos, you can price it in Bitcoin. So you can look at like the price of a Bitcoin Cash is like 1% again, these are all like 2 months ago. I haven't looked at the numbers since then, but 2 months ago it was like 1% of a Bitcoin. And now that we have stable coins, what are called stable coins, which are they can be backed by dollars, they could be backed by gold in this case. So you've got gold-backed stable coins that have an ounce of gold price. You can now look at the price of Bitcoin and the price of gold in vice versa. So you can look at the price of gold in Bitcoins, and you can look at the price of Bitcoin in gold, and you don't have to use dollars, which is pretty neat.
I didn't get the practical use for stablecoins until very recently.
Me neither. Took me a while.
When I wanted to, a particular coin that I threw a couple bucks in as sort of a test investment, it went up. And I doubled my $10. I got $20 in that thing. And I was like, okay, well, now how do I cash this out back into, without actually going through an exchange and putting it in my bank? I just want to take the dollar value of this, move it somewhere.
Do something with it.
And then pick the next thing I'm going to throw $20 at, right?
Stablecoins are the answer for that.
Stablecoins are definitely the answer for that to those of you listening who may not have caught that when stablecoins came out.
For the longest time, I'm like, why the hell do you want $1 in crypto terms? And then, like you, I finally figured out why.
I was like, oh,
now, my question is, what is it backed by, and how do we have any proof that whatever they're saying is backing it is actually there?
These are good questions.
We've heard this type of thing in other situations before.
Yeah.
We've heard that the U.S. dollar is backed by blah, 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 and it's never really been backed by any of that.
Well, and supposedly the stable coins, these people are holding on to however many dollars worth of the stable coin exist.
Yes, if we're talking about a dollar-backed stablecoin, then they supposedly have a reserve. Now, the question is, how do you prove that the supposedly is true? And that is where a third-party audit would come into play. So they would hire a third party to come in, look at the vault, whatever bank account it is that they're holding these dollars in. And I believe, I don't know what Tether's current status is, but for a long time, people have questioned Tether, which is the number one.
Yeah, that'd be the number one I'd start to ask questions about.
And there have long been questions about whether or not they actually have the backing. And I don't know if they do.
Well, Ron Paul goes on to say,
but that's the thing, and you can still use the stable coin on an exchange on a temporary basis, like the captain said. He got he doubled the value in dollar terms of this investment that he made.
Right.
He then sells half of it, gets his original investment back in stablecoin dollars, and then you can immediately go and buy some other crypto with that. And at no point do you actually have to take a withdrawal to a bank account, which means that you haven't actually taken in any. I mean, I'm not giving tax advice here. I don't know what the the law is on that, but in theory, since you aren't actually receiving dollars, you could argue that that's not a taxable event when you sold that, because you're just taking it as another crypto.
And we don't really need a regulator of any kind to go in and investigate anything. We don't. No. If they screw up, everybody's going to. They're going to pay a hard price. Everybody's going to drop that crypto like a hot rock.
Well, you mean the free market self-regulates?
Yes, it does. We do not need agents or guns to point at people.
Ron Paul goes on to say that his goal is to, quote, help legalize the competition, and then I think people will sort it out. Freedom of choice will sort it out regarding Bitcoin. I think that's a great quote from Ron Paul, of all people. He sees this as competition. It goes on to say the former congressman described gold and Bitcoin as money and competition to the U.S. dollar, and highlighted that a major reason investors seek out such alternative forms of money is to hedge against the declining value of the U.S. dollar.
That's right.
Paul believes that for this reason, alternate forms of money should be taxed the same as fiat currency. We're back to saying, this article sucks, actually. I think it's written poorly. I think they left out the word not in several places, but I don't know that for a fact. Poor rating over at Cointelegraph.
Is that the end of the story?
Yeah, thereabouts.
All right, well, I want to comment on that coming up.
More Free Talk Live on the way.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com, advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Do you appreciate what we do? Help us advertise, market, and promote for just $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com.
603-283-6160 is the telephone number here in the studio. Again, 603-283-6160 if you would like to speak with Three Dorks Live. If you would like to get your voice on Free Talk Live. What did I say?
No word of a lie.
Three Dorks Live? I'm at least one. I'm assuming you guys
I'm
are
in
the
for
other
two.
So,
Yeah.
All right. At least I wasn't fibbing.
No.
In the studio tonight, it is myself, the captain.
Matt.
It's Ian.
We were talking about this article from Cointelegraph where Mr. Ron Paul is giving a speech possibly right now, for all we know. He's down in Miami, Florida at the Bitcoin conference, expected to have
50,000
people.
I'm glad to hear that Florida is out of the whole COVID restriction thing. That's great.
That's like twice the population of Keene, New Hampshire.
And that's a huge Bitcoin conference. I mean, Free Talk Live has broadcast from a bunch of Bitcoin conferences over the year, and never anything like that. I mean, I don't think we've been to anything with more than 1,000 or 2. So that's huge.
The people from Float, FLOTE, Aaron and I'm trying to remember her husband's name. Kingsley, yes, thank you. They are across the street from the Bitcoin conference where they're having I can't say it on the air, but it's a S-Coin conference. So they've invited all the coins that didn't get invited to the Bitcoin conference over to their conference, to the S-Coin conference. Nice. As you can imagine. And so, yeah, I was like, if I were in Florida, I would go to that just based on the name alone.
I was going to say, had I known about this sooner, I might have gone down just to hang out with those two.
Yeah, they're cool.
So, at any rate, you wanted to comment on something because we were kind of, I don't know that we're at the end of the article, but, we've said basically what needs to be said.
You're talking about the Ron Paul
bit,
making statements regarding Bitcoin and alternatives to government money, but saying he wants, in the interpretation of the article, Bitcoin to be treated as money instead of a commodity, and therefore the article keeps saying and taxed the same as money. And I think the interpretation that they're making there is that money itself isn't taxed unless it moves, whereas the commodity status is when it gains in value, there's a tax when you sell it,
right?
Which is currently, as I understand it, how the IRS treats
Bitcoin.
Right,
because according to my information, and I'm not a banker or an attorney, but my information is that you can put money into Bitcoin all you want. It's once you take it out, or, like in an exchange or something, if you want to make a deposit back into your bank account, that's when the tax event may or may not occur, depending on your tax liability.
Yeah, which is just a Byzantine problem of complexity as far as trying to figure out, if I've purchased Bitcoin at 100 different times over the last few years to track how the purchases, when they were made and what the value of Bitcoin was at the time,
right? Yeah.
And then somehow know, even though it's not fungible, you still don't really know which Bitcoins you're dealing with when let's say you buy something at the local store that sells things for Bitcoin, which we have here in New Hampshire. How do you know if the Bitcoin that you sold was up in value or down in value? And
no way to tell.
It's impossible. So how anyone can answer these tax documents, which now they're asking people questions from what I'm told about these IRS forms, how anyone could possibly, anyone somewhat active in cryptocurrency could possibly keep track and therefore answer these questions honestly without committing perjury.
On the form. It's the first question on the form.
Yeah, without committing, whatever that is. It a perjury charge? I don't know, but that seems like a really bad thing. So that to me is what this story is saying, is that Ron Paul's saying change the status legally of Bitcoin away from being a commodity and into being money, and then therefore you don't have to deal with that crap. Well, then they would only tax you on Bitcoin income, in theory, which would then should be taxed in Bitcoin in that particular case, which would be a whole completely different ball of wax. But whether that's exactly what he's saying or not, that's how I would interpret that.
Well, the final bit here it says, when asked about the subject matter for his address at the Miami Bitcoin conference, Ron Paul emphasized that he won't necessarily be speaking on the technical significance of blockchain technology.
No, that's not his expertise.
Or from a pro-Bitcoin perspective, but more the angle of letting the market decide and freedom of choice. The final quote, I won't try to explain exactly technically whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I will argue more for the case for legalization of freedom of choice, and the people should make decisions and not the government. And of course, I can totally get behind that.
Can we subpoena him for the Crypto 6 trial as an expert witness?
I don't see why not. Let's go to the phones. We have Clamoring calling from somewhere on planet Earth. Clamoring, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Clamoring.
To talk to you again.
Hey, Clamoring.
Lot to unpack there on the crypto topic. Most recently, regarding the commodity argument, my question, and I know you guys don't have an answer for this, but is, so say hypothetically someone was gifted a whole bunch of crypto and that was, say, mined. how do you report that on your taxes? Like, you have no idea. You're supposed to put like what the value was when you got it, but you don't know because it was a gift and it was mine. So
right,
yeah, that's a great question.
That's one.
And then
one
also,
issue.
you know, the price could change between the time, you know, it was sent and the time you actually open your wallet and look at it, or
Right.
wherever it, you know, whatever the destination was. You know, it could have changed in that way too. And the other thing is, you know, the commodity versus currency argument. I don't know that, like, I think Bitcoin, the blockchain, all cryptocurrencies sort of satisfy both arguments. And so that in and of itself makes it a new thing. And we know how government reacts to new things. They don't know what to do. You know?
Smash.
Well,
Yes.
and that was another thing I wanted to touch on too, because you guys were just recently talking about backing. And I don't think, like, in my opinion, and again, I have no legal background or anything, or no accountant background or anything, but like, why are we even talking about backing? Like, this is all just imaginary ones and zeros. So, like, it doesn't matter. And that kind of goes back to what you guys were saying. Like, why are we translating it to U.S. dollars when U.S. dollars don't even mean anything?
I had a similar conversation with somebody recently when I was talking about crypto, and they asked, like, well, what's cryptocurrency backed by? And I said, well, what does that matter? Currency isn't backed by anything these days anyway. They're like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
exactly.
I totally avoided
Zoom.
the whole, like, the whole entire normal argument from somebody new to crypto just by saying, well, regular money isn't backed by anything either, so what's it
It's
matter?
a good answer.
And the third thing I wanted to touch on was stable coins, because I don't personally have a lot of experience. My experience with cryptocurrency is in the like heavy duty encryption part, because I used to be a network engineer, and so I know how the encryption works. So I guess I don't understand what the difference with stable coin. I don't know what that means, really.
Okay, so for listeners that are new to the term, a stable coin is a crypto token that is backed by a certain thing in real life. So it could be an ounce of gold, it could be $1, it could be a euro, it could be I don't know, a dozen eggs or something, right? Like, so basically the idea is that the stable coin is it's not a cryptocurrency itself. It's a token, which means it sort of exists on a cryptocurrency, but it's sort of just a counter, basically. It's with Ethereum, which is the number 2 cryptocurrency on the planet right now. Ethereum can be used to create tokens that sort of live on the Ethereum blockchain. You have to send, when you send the tokens from one person to the next, it's like sending a Ethereum transaction. You have to send it with a little bit of Ethereum in order to get it to its destination. And so that's how tokens work. You can go right now and create clamoring coin or clamoring tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. You can tell it to make 1 million of them or 1 billion of them or 20 billion of them or however many you want. That doesn't mean they'll have any value. But anybody can create a token on, and not just Ethereum. There's also Bitcoin Cash has tokens, and Tron, I think, has tokens, and there's a bunch of them that do.
When I first heard of stable coins, it was around the time when, like, a lot of these niche market coins were being launched. There was one that rhymes with Itcoin, and it was for like strippers, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But so when they were like stable coin, I was like, oh, is this for horseback riders? No. Is this like for farmers? Stable coin?
There's a whole market in tokens out there too. Like, there's a lot of people trading these things.
Thanks for the call, Clamoring. We appreciate it. 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next.
After a devastating war, the alien visitors were driven back, and their willing human collaborators were left behind to face the music. When Emma Jean Anderson's ex-lover springs her from prison, Nathan Foster and his 14-year-old nephew Ben are tasked with bringing the pair to justice. An easy enough job until they discover something is inside Emma Jean, and the fate of the planet hangs in the balance. The Family Business by Mike Coopery from BaneBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
He's ruled it out. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The president will not take action on his own to investigate the January attack on the U.S. Capitol.
President Biden does not intend to appoint his own commission to investigate January 6th, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said in a statement. Psaki says the president firmly agrees with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi that Congress has a unique role and ability to carry out an investigation and must do so. Pelosi has also dismissed the idea of a presidential commission, describing it to colleagues as unworkable. Democrats do have other options, including a House Select Committee, after Senate Republicans blocked legislation to establish an independent bipartisan commission modeled after the panel set up to investigate the 9/11 terror attacks. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The White House says Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci can speak for himself after some of his emails were obtained under a Freedom of Information Act request that have sparked backlash from Republicans over Fauci's comments about the origins of COVID-19.
The president and the administration feel that Dr. Fauci has played an incredible role in getting the pandemic under control, being a voice to the public throughout the course of this pandemic.
Press Secretary Jen Psaki, House Republicans want Fauci to testify about the origins of the virus. President Biden last week ordered the intelligence community to investigate it and deliver a report in 90 days. The U.S.-Israel relationship is unchanged as the country works to form a new government that could end the 11-year run of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Regardless of what government is in place, our stalwart support, our ironclad support for Israel will remain.
State Department spokesman Ned Price, last night opponents of Netanyahu agreed to form a coalition government, but it needs the approval of Israel's parliament. America is listening to Fox News.
Indeed is the job site that makes hiring as easy as 1, 2, 3. Post, screen, and interview. All on Indeed. Get your quality shortlist of candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description faster. Only pay for the candidates that meet must-have qualifications. According to Talent Nest, Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined. If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Get started right now with the free $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/Fox. Indeed.com/Fox. Offer valid through June 30th. Terms and conditions apply.
Another Capitol riot suspect has accepted a plea deal from prosecutors.
Paul Hodgkins of Tampa, Florida, has pleaded guilty to obstructing Congress as prosecutors drop misdemeanor charges against him. The 38-year-old faces 20 years in prison, but the agreement could mean he gets a much lighter sentence, around 15 to 21 months. Hodgkins, who has no previous criminal record, will learn his fate in July. Another defendant, 52-year-old John Schaefer of Indiana, pleaded guilty to 2 felony counts last month. More than 450 people have been charged in the January 6th siege on the U.S. Capitol. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
The Justice Department is investigating Postmaster General Louis DeJoy over political fundraising at its former business. A spokesman says it pertains to political contributions made by employees who worked for him while he was in the private sector. And the spokesman says DeJoy has always adhered to campaign finance laws and has never knowingly violated them. A major retailer wants its employees to be in touch all the time.
Walmart is giving nearly half its U.S. employees free Samsung phones by the end of the year. They'll use a company app, Me at Walmart, to manage shifts, clock in, and stay in constant communication. The 740,000 Walmart employees will receive Samsung Galaxy X Cover Pro smartphones. Walmart says it tested the project earlier this year, and it will not be able to see personal information on the phones. It will see work emails,
I'm grateful to have heard from some of our satellite listeners recently. I appreciate knowing that people are out there who like what we do and are willing to support it financially. LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. We started a fundraiser on Patreon a few years ago to back the satellite channels. I recently announced that I was considering canceling the feeds, and donations increased from 15 to 20% of our costs, which are around $1,000 per month. That's a good start, and to incentivize more contributions, the Shire Free Church will be matching every dollar. Can we reach $500 per month? With your help, we can. You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both of the channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. fund.lrn.fm.
The Tallahassee Zoo, which faced a major budget crisis. Luckily, they were able to get both, keep guests and animals happy and stay profitable.
And that's thanks to the zoo's new director, Maxwell Jeffries.
Happy to be here, thank you.
Good morning.
Now, what's the most profitable part of the zoo? The elephants, the tigers?
No, the gift shop, okay? Food court. But now the entire zoo is the gift shop. So you come to the zoo, you look around, you see something you like, make me an offer. I'm a businessman. I want to make people happy. You're probably familiar with the old saying, don't feed the animals.
Oh, right, of course.
Okay, well, that's old-fashioned thinking. At our zoo, you can feed the animals.
Anything you want?
Anything you want. Oats, eggs, batteries, you name it. And we also invented a new tiered membership system. So for your standard membership, you go to the zoo, you get to see the animals. For your gold level membership, you get to pick any 2 animals, make them fight each other. Yeah. And then with a platinum, you get 1 hour alone in the zoo. No questions asked. Yeah.
Wow.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Welcome back to Free Talk Live. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're kicking off hour number 2, or dos, or deux, und deux, if you're French.
What's it in German? Zwei?
Ein, zwei.
Zwei?
How do you know that?
My older sister took German and
made you learn German.
Kind of.
Oh, that sucks.
Ein, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben.
See, I could only go to drei.
I don't know 9.
The rest of them.
9.
I don't know.
I assume not. But I don't know what 10 is either. I don't remember. I used to know. One of my sisters did the foreign exchange thing, and so she went over to Germany and was hosted by a family who she had some sort of a problem with, and this is probably the early 80s, right? 82, 83. So there wasn't the internet, and if you had a problem somewhere, you couldn't just she's in a foreign country and barely, she speaks German because she took German in high school or whatever, right. But high school level German, right? So she ended up leaving and going and befriending some people, going and hanging out with them for 4 weeks instead of staying at the host's thing. And she lost an amazing amount of weight or something. She was over there as well. It was an interesting thing. But the authorities never got involved, despite the fact that there were some questionable things about, she saw the dude of the family, raise hands to the wife and that kind of a thing. And she was like, I want no part of this.
Nope.
And so she got the F out.
It's kind of interesting because last time I met a German, I put on an amazing amount of weight because of her.
I have that problem with Italians.
Italians, yeah.
So before we go on with the show, on March 16th, 2021, terrorists calling themselves government agents conspired together and raided this very studio, the Free Talk Live studio. They raided the Bitcoin Embassy and the homes of Aria DiMezzo, Renee and Andy Spinella, and Colleen Fordham. 6 people were arrested. We call these folks the Crypto Six. Ian Freeman spent 69 days held hostage, and the person named Nobody, formerly known as Rich Paul, still remains in custody. The rest were released on some sort of bail conditions. They are all still facing charges. What can you do to help? Well, you can visit thecrypto6.com. There's a bunch of information there. There's links, there's a video, and there's multiple ways to which you can donate to their legal defense fund, because these charges are not a joke. It's going to take a serious legal team and many experts to protect the Crypto Six from further aggression from the state. This case is very likely to set precedent that will affect the world of cryptocurrency for decades to come. You can help them in their fight for liberty and financial freedom by visiting thecrypto6.com. Again, thecrypto6.com. So since we've been talking about, I know we started with International Whores Day, and that's fun and really doesn't have much to do with Bitcoin, unless, of course, you happen to be a whore who accepts Bitcoin. And if you are, the phone number is 603-283-6160.
Well, we don't just talk about Bitcoin on this show. That's only one thing we cover.
Absolutely, but we're going to talk about Bitcoin again.
Okay. I imagine we've covered it more often than average in the last 2 months, but I haven't been here, so I don't know.
The reason I talk about Bitcoin is... and when I say Bitcoin, I mean cryptocurrency.
In all fairness, I like to talk about Monero.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, very nice.
What's going on with Monero?
Nothing fancy. It's just sitting there being Monero. It's doing a good job at its job. And
what's the cost of a Monero these days? I don't know.
$260,
$200 plus.
Yeah, something like that. Nice. It was up closer to $400 there for a minute.
Wow. Well, you were just before, like maybe a week before you actually got released. Before the dip in the whole market, Ethereum was almost $4,000.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and I
Crazy.
was amazed. Sorry, so Monero?
Yeah, it's just I was just looking up the price of it right now.
Why should listeners even think about Monero?
Because Monero is a privacy coin, and if you like, it's $308.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Monero's $308.49 right now.
Wow, that's
Solid.
amazing.
Yeah, it's put on 5% in the last 24 hours. Fantastic. Good job, Monero. So Monero is a privacy coin. With other coins, there's no, they're encrypted, so it's going to be tough to track down a transaction. You know, somebody might get some hackers on the case and hack into the blockchain somehow and possibly find out that you once bought a cup of coffee for $1.35.
Yeah, there's some very detailed, what do they call them? Chainalysis, I think, programs.
Right,
where people have been able to track the history of Bitcoin moving and where it's been. And, so Bitcoin, of course, completely trackable. Monero, completely untrackable. At least so far, it hasn't been cracked.
Correct. I think the government has bounties out for hackers who can crack Monero.
Yeah, they haven't gotten them yet.
Well, the thing is, it was designed specifically for the government to ask those requests and fail.
Not get anywhere.
So, I mean, that's the reason it was made, because we realized that we're heading toward a cashless society, because whether government wants it or not, which they do, they want it for different reasons than other people do, but we're living in a highly technological world, and that means money's going to stop being less tangible too. So what we don't want to do is lose the cash in our pockets, and we can do what we want to do with the cash in our pockets.
Because that's anonymous. Cash in your pocket is anonymous.
It's none of anybody's business what we do with our money sometimes. And Monero lets you do that.
Yeah, that's true.
The way I understand it is Monero, when you send to Monero, it doesn't turn up on the other end. It destroys itself on the spot and pops up anew.
As far as its traceability.
Yeah, new coins are generated in the wallet of the other person.
I'm not sure how it all works. That's a great question.
But I am glad
you can't trace it.
I am glad that it exists, because there would be a market for it if it didn't. And it's not the only one. It's the reigning champion right now.
Yeah, what's this? What's the next competitor?
There's another one
Pirate?
called, I think, they're based on Monero, though. They're based on Monero code, basically. But yeah, there's another one called R.
That one's based on Zcash.
Right?
Zcash?
Yeah.
R Zcash? Okay, I got that wrong.
Yeah. And so was Hush. Hush was also based on Zcash.
Right. Yeah. But the thing with Zcash, though, is that it isn't as private as they claimed it was going to be.
The problem with Zcash is that they have two modes. There's a public mode and a private mode, and 99% of the transactions use the public mode.
Oh, so you have to turn something on.
You have to opt into the privacy.
I just want it to work.
Whereas Monero is all private all the time. There's no public option.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think somebody said Dash and Bitcoin Cash are doing the same thing.
I've never heard of that. Dash had a quote-unquote privacy mode early on. It was basically a built-in Dash mixer, which is weak privacy, the weakest possible form of privacy you can get.
The cool thing about all these different coins, and there's hundreds, maybe thousands of different cryptocurrencies at this point. I don't know what the number is.
There's 10,000. Last time somebody pulled up CoinMarketCap, there were 10,000 coins that they were listing there.
The beautiful thing about having all this competition is that as these features are developed on other coins, they can be adapted to existing coins.
Sure, you just copy the code. Most of them are all open source.
Yeah.
So, when somebody invents a new thing because of competition, it actually benefits the entire cryptoverse.
That's true.
And for our listeners who wonder why I specifically talk a lot about Bitcoin, it's because I have encountered the argument so many times about, an anarchist society or a stateless society, right? A society without the organization that we know as government, which is a monopoly on the use of force. They claim a monopoly on the use of force. And I try to get them to imagine what life might be like with show me an example of that ever working. Here you go. It's right here. Cryptocurrency.
It was actually one of the easiest hurdles to climb. Like I always thought when we were talking about stateless societies, when I was first exposed to the idea of a stateless society, anarchy was a scary word to me then. I would never forget Pete Eyre said, "I'm an anarchist," and I shuddered. I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're not going to vote for Ron Paul." You know what I mean? and I'll never forget. And I really got to thinking about, well, Pete's a great guy. How could anarchy possibly work? He's not an idiot, and he's not a madman. He's a total normal
By the way, welcome back, Pete. They just moved back to New Hampshire.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, how are we going to hurt? My first question was stupid. It was, what are we going to do about the post office?
What about the roads?
It's like, who would ever deliver a piece of mail?
You went into mode, M-U-H.
Totally. Right? Yeah. Everybody else's thing is, what about the roads? My second thing was, what are we going to do about a money supply of some kind? Well,
problem solved.
Presto. What else? What's next?
Also, what do you do about official record keeping? Problem solved. Blockchain can do all of the official record keeping that all governments do across the globe and do it better, faster, and cheaper, which is why bureaucracies should be freaking out. More Free Talk Live is on the way.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
A newly recruited search and rescue officer, Marshall Hunter was resigned to a life of rescuing wayward spacefarers and derelict satellites. But when a billionaire couple goes missing, his own ship is disabled during the rescue. With communication satellites suddenly failing and lunar mineral shipments disappearing in transit, the crew suspects it's more than a coincidence, and Hunter must choose between salvation and sacrifice to save his crewmates and their civilian charges. Frontier by Patrick Childs and BingBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com.
Come on and listen to Free Talk Live. Yeah, if you want to dial 603-283-6160, you can talk about whatever you want. Take control of the airwaves, whatever's on your mind, or you can comment on anything we've been talking about. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass, joining me,
Matt
and Ian.
We've been talking about, well, a lot of things. We've been sort of centered around cryptocurrency and the blockchain technologies. And since we were, I like to highlight more people accepting cryptocurrencies, particularly businesses, right? It's one thing for like, I don't know, I'm a babysitter and I take Bitcoin, or, I'm a one-man handyman and I take Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. It's one thing for like the one-person shops to accept Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. But this from Bitcoin.com, U.S. convenience store chain Sheetz, that's Sheetz, to accept cryptocurrencies for payments. Now, I'm not familiar with this particular chain, but Ian, you said you have some familiarity.
I personally have never seen this chain, but I am aware that it exists because our former co-host, Chris Reitman, who I am prohibited from speaking with by the terms of my bail conditions, sadly, he's the co-founder of the Bitcoin Embassy. And he also is the founder of the Mighty Moose Mart, which is a convenience store here in Keene. And he grew up, I think, in an area, or at least spent a lot of his life in an area where these Sheetz stores were. Mm-hmm. So he was very familiar with sort of the quality level of them. He was very impressed with how they operate, from a business aspect, how they present their product and all that. And so I think that there was a lot of influence from the Sheetz brand as far as how he launched his own personal convenience store. So I heard a lot about, the Sheetz business model as he was kind of telling us all about what his plans were for Mighty Moose Mart. So they seem to be a pretty like technologically savvy company, like with online ordering of food, like if you want to order a sandwich or something like that kind of thing.
So on May 27th, Sheetz revealed the company will be accepting crypto payments via the digital payments network Flexa. I've never heard of them before, but I will look into them further on my own time.
Yeah.
The company, Sheetz, is headquartered in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It operates 622 convenience stores and coffee shops in Ohio, Virginia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Maryland. Mm-hmm. 622 convenience stores. That's
a lot.
You guys remember the old Bitcoin joke? Or the criticism? It'll never be able to be used to buy a cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah?
That's right.
There it is.
Well, I sure hope that nobody's buying or no one is buying coffee with Bitcoin, because the fees, I suspect, are still terrible. I don't think those have been fixed in the last 2 months that I've been in jail.
Nope.
So I'm hoping that Sheets here is going to be accepting some alternatives to Bitcoin, like maybe Bitcoin Cash or Dash.
You just got to buy a lot of coffee to make it worth.
Yeah.
I will take a tanker of coffee, please.
Can you just roll over the keg of coffee, please? So Sheets noted in its announcement that the firm aims to, quote, provide customers with the ability to pay for items inside the store or fill up their cars, trucks, and RVs at the pump using digital currencies like Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and more.
Now, that's interesting. Like, how are they going to do the fill-ups? Because most gas stations, they want you to prepay, right? They don't trust that you're going to not drive away after filling up the tank. So with a credit card, when you swipe the card, they've already got all your authorization information. If you drive away, they still, they get the sale.
Right.
Otherwise, you usually have to walk in and hand them cash, and then they authorize the pump, and then you can go up to the amount of the cash that you put in. How are they going to do that with crypto? Are you going to prepay the crypto amount and then receive crypto back? If so, that's complicated.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know how that's going to pan out. What are they going to do to implement this?
It's a good question. I worked in convenience stores for a period of time in my life. I was an assistant manager at a large gas and diesel and racing fuel type thing. A couple of car washes and that kind of thing. So this is all like, sort of the advent of debit cards. So like people could just pull up to the pump their gas, and then drive off.
Yeah.
Right. There was no. So what they would do,
pump and run, as it were.
Gas and go.
Gas and go.
Yeah. What they would do is they would just shut off the pumps at the end corner. So if there's how there's always a roof sort of above the pumps to keep the rain from falling on you. The most frequent gas and go pumps were the ones at the ends,
the closest
on all
to
four
the
corners, the ones most able, quickest getaway kind of thing.
Right.
So they would disable those after, say, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., whenever it got dark.
Okay.
And so if people wanted to use that pump, they'd get out of their car, they would put the nozzle in the gas tank, and then they'd press the button to call the attendant, and then you'd have to just say back to them, oh, this pump is prepay after 10 o'clock or whatever it is. So then you make them come in and pay. But the question still remains: how does how do you prepay with crypto?
It could be done. So when you pay from cryptocurrency wallets, if it's not Monero, which is total privacy, and then you don't know much about how those transactions went. But if you pay with like Bitcoin Cash or Dash, then the receiver knows from whom it's come from. They know the wallet address source, so they could just return the change to your wallet. I mean, that's doable.
Oh yeah, I guess
that's doable.
It would have to be the payment provider that makes that a feature in their POS integration,
or the gas pump or whatever. And I would love to see that be a thing. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
but it would require the customer to prepay up front. So it would be basically the equivalent of a cash payment.
The sheets themselves go on to say, I think this is
and you wouldn't have to go back inside if it was all done at the pump. You could pay at the pump, and then you just get the automatic refund right into your wallet.
Back to your wallet.
The change. So you don't have to go back in and wait in line to get the remainder of your cash. So it would still be a time saver by comparison to cash.
Right, but there would be fees on both transactions.
Yeah, but if we're just talking about Dash or Bitcoin Cash, you're talking about like a cent.
Yeah, that's true.
No big deal. So they would not be able to
right.
use Bitcoin in that case. That would be completely impossible due to the Bitcoin fees being out of control.
Even with Lightning?
I don't know anything about Lightning. Do you?
I know that it's a thing, and it's the Bitcoin Core's method to try and overcome.
Sure. Have you ever tried it?
I have not.
Yeah, but it's a derivative of Bitcoin. It's not actually Bitcoin at that point, right?
It's a side chain, I think
it's a layer 2 protocol that,
And it's totally not private either.
Nope. It adds extra complexity and confusion, I think. So, I mean, the only person who actually has ever cared about Lightning in our little network of crypto friends is Chris Reitman. He's been excited by it forever and cannot recruit anyone else to care. He has tried so hard.
There's something that I've used not too recently ago, or not too long ago. I tried to use something that accepted Bitcoin, and it gave me a choice. It said you could use Bitcoin or Bitcoin Lightning. So like there was something that I tried to use. It wasn't Purse. It was something else. But I didn't use either of those anyway. I was using,
so far, there's no reason for me to bother. And not that I can do it legally now anyway, but I'm on bail conditions that say I can't even use crypto, which is ridiculous.
Well, the statement from Sheetz goes on to say, above all else, our mission at Sheetz is to continue providing our customers with the ultimate one-stop shop where they can refuel their car and refresh their body, Linda Smith, the payments manager for Sheetz, said. And I could tell you more about what they said, and the 622 store chain.
That's huge.
Gonna be accepting Bitcoin for all sorts of fun stuff. So 603-283-6160. Would you fill up your car with cryptocurrency?
Yes, and I have.
More Free Talk Live coming up.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Free Talk Live.
And that's what it really comes down to. I think the internet is becoming more and more conservative. I've been online for 20 years. Really? And everyone's trying to make money now. And when you get money involved, you start having people scared of their own shadows or their own nipples.
A long time ago, whitehouse.com
porn site
was a porn site. There was a website that misspelled Blue's Clues somehow and was a porn site. And yeah, you don't really see those nowadays.
But I don't know. I mean, back in the 20 years ago, you didn't have Two Girls, One Cup.
You didn't, but if you did, there wasn't that much complaint about it because usually people that were online 20 years ago, you had to have a certain amount of technical sophistication.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com.
That's right. When I was playing in bands and, I wanted the drummer to like maybe play a little bit different of a drum riff, it was always like, instead of doing dooga-doom, could you do like a dooga-da?
Mouth drums.
Yeah. Or how about a bugga-da-bump? Can you do that instead? And so like we called that speaking drummerese. Very similar to drunkenese. If you've
Usually both at once, right?
I mean,
it's band practice.
Ironically, the more drunk you get, the more sense drummerese makes.
And somebody's always taking off their shirt and flailing around at some point anyway. So
it is Free Talk Live. The telephone number, if you'd like to talk about whatever's on your mind, is 603-283-6160. In the studio, it's myself, the captain.
Matt.
It's Ian.
We've been talking about this article from Bitcoin.com where convenience chain in the number of 622 convenience stores scattered throughout Ohio, Virginia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Maryland is going to take cryptocurrency for all things. The article goes on to say, to quote, as a result, we are constantly innovating and exploring new offerings to truly give our customers what they want, when they want it, 24/7, 365.
Including prostitutes.
Well, I mean...
only on special
Thanks
holidays.
for bringing it back around to International Whores Day. I appreciate you circling back. It says that includes accepting many forms of payment. We're very excited to be working with Flexa to roll out support for cryptocurrencies and other types of digital assets at our stores.
Yeah, we should pull up the Flexa website and see what they're offering. What are the cryptocurrencies that their system is accepting? Because it cannot just be Bitcoin.
Oh, no, they already
Bitcoin
said
is
that it
not
would be
useful.
more than just Bitcoin.
Right, yeah, I heard the plural there. I just was curious to know what they're going to, is Dogecoin going to be there? What are they going to take?
Features, solution, resources, let's see, apps, integrations.
I wasn't asking you to do it, Captain. You're
well, I was doing
You're hosting you're hosting the show.
I was like, why are you asking me to do that now? I'm
Watch the
hosting
man
the show.
multitask.
Another person with a phone could do it if another person with a phone wanted to do that. Who's sitting in the third chair.
You and I had the same thought. It's just that I was like, why is he asking me to do this now? I'm in the middle of hosting a show.
It could be a thing that a third host could back up the first host with.
The third chair is not allowed to touch phones, though.
You're not under bail conditions.
Wait, I'm on the second chair, though.
That's the third chair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, okay, then.
You just, Sorry.
Got me at a technicality statist.
I think you have to probably casually suggest to the third chair that they voluntarily pick up their phone.
I should have said, Matt, could you? And I've been very clear
that would
about
work.
It, it wasn't being clear.
That would work.
That's not how we do things around here.
Suggestion is such a failure with me.
It's
say what you want. I'm on it.
It's Flexa.network apparently is their.
Well, I'm glad to hear that there's fresh competition out there because for a long time the Bitcoin acceptance at retail world was very limited. It was just BitPay and AnyPay. And of course, we're big fans of the AnyPay folks here on Free Talk Live. Former co-host Derek J. Freeman founded that company, and they do amazing work.
I found it.
But the more the merrier. Bring more competition into this field. I think that's fantastic.
It's in alphabetical order. So Algo, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, CeeLo, Dash, Dogecoin, EOS, Ether, Litecoin, Lumens, Tezos, and Zcash.
All right, that's plenty of
options.
options.
A list.
Those are under supported cryptocurrencies.
They got Bitcoin Cash and Dash, so those are the two spendy ones.
They also mentioned supported digital tokens: AMP, Atom, Basic Attention Token, Comp, Eco, Link, LRC, Luna, OXT, and ZRX.
Now, no one in their right mind is going to want to use Ethereum-based tokens either because the fees on those, at least 2 months ago, were also ridiculous.
I might just to get something out of them,
Well, yeah, if all you have.
I bought a few of these. They're only worth a few dollars,
But as of the last time I was moving Ethereum around, it was like a $10 fee.
Yeah, I wanted to tip somebody $5, and it was going to be a $5 fee
on Ethereum
to do that. Yeah, with Ethereum.
And how recent was this?
A month and a half ago.
Apparently, they also support some stable coins: the CeeLo dollar, DAI, D-A-I, Gemini dollar, and the USD coin.
Yeah, all of those Ethereum based.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to buy a tank of gas for $20 and then pay an extra $5 on top for the privilege of using a crypto token. But if you're using like Bitcoin Cash or Dash, or I heard Lumens were in there as well, Stellar Lumens.
That's pretty sweet.
Those are very, very low fee. I'm a big fan of the Stellar Lumens. I like those a lot.
Well, you could also be like the Mighty Moose Mart and offer a bit of a discount if you pay in crypto.
You could. But even so, $5 fee isn't going to be covered
I know.
by a discount like that.
But it's nice if you spend, $20.
Yeah, I'm curious to know who else they're working with as well. This Flexa network. I'd love to see, the payment procedure. Like, AnyPay, for instance, makes little videos where you can see somebody walk into a place.
I have to let you get away with saying these things because of your predicament. Normally, right about now is where I would say, if only there were a device.
Yeah, you could look it up.
If only they made a magic rectangle that fit into your pocket. But I can't say that to you like properly.
You can say it.
No, well, it doesn't make any sense to say it to you because I know you can't.
Not yet.
Like, Ian, if only you could get a set of encyclopedias delivered to you that were every minute, that were updated the next minute.
If only I had a device with spyware installed on the computer. And tomorrow I might just. Which, I'm looking forward to on one hand because I'll be able to get more stuff done. Yeah. But on the other hand, it also means I have to check my emails for the first time in 2.5-3 months.
You poor bastard.
Yeah, that's no fun.
I've had that happen where I've been gone
to go back into emails for a long time. Yeah, no fun.
Yeah, sometimes what I've done in the past is I've just taken like everything except for like the last week and hit delete.
Yeah, I'm not
because like sometimes if it's important, they'll mail you back.
Well, true. That's true.
It's not the best strategy, just a strategy. So at any rate, Sheets is going to be accepting through Flexa cryptocurrencies, that is. According to the announcement, Sheets will leverage Flexa's climate-neutral payments technology at a number of select cafes and stores at first. Later this summer, the company will roll out crypto payments for the firm's fuel pumps.
What does that mean? Climate neutral?
It's funny you're asking this because I just was over at the Froyo place, and there was some random kid in there. I was trying to tip the two girls that worked there in some Doge, and some kid came in and he was the local Bitcoin expert apparently.
Oh,
not really, but he had some things to say and he was climbing on and learning a little bit. I think.
Great.
But he was saying, it's Doge. They were talking about how Doge is not as dirty for the environment as Bitcoin is. I'm like, dude, throw that stuff in the garbage. It's not real. That is I can't believe this is,
Didn't that undermine your tipping intentions?
Man,
like you're telling them to throw away the.
It's like an automatic headache to hear people parroting what they've heard on the news or TV or whatever.
Isn't Doge bad news because there's no maximum?
Yeah, it's trash because the guy who created it intentionally created it to be trash as a parody to all the trash coins that were already out there. He just wanted to make the trashiest of them all, and here it is at 40 cents.
It's in the top 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like number 5 a couple weeks ago.
Amazing.
So apparently climate neutral refers to climate change.
I figured.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
I thought that climate neutral meant like, we'll take any form of currency because
but what does it mean
we want you to have the most amount of choice available to pay for stuff when you visit our store.
Because Ian, the miners are burning so much electricity to mine the Doge that it's bad for the planet.
You mean the Bitcoin?
They're
the carbon footprint of Bitcoin is huge.
They're claiming Flexa is climate neutral.
That's what I want to know. Like, what does that even mean?
Nothing.
That it doesn't suck any more energy or something. It's got a small carbon footprint.
Sounds like a load of crap.
Yes.
Yeah, selling point.
It does.
Anyway, at a number of select stores, they'll offer it first. Then later this summer, the company will roll out crypto payments for the fuel pumps. Sheets customers can also tether their Sheets Rewards loyalty points to Flexa-enabled applications. Further, Sheets is also leveraging Flex's point-of-sale partner, NCR.
Whoa.
That's
heard of them.
Big company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, things are looking up.
Things are changing.
Things are looking up. People have been waiting for crypto to sort of go mainstream, and perhaps we're on the edge. More Free Talk Live is on the way.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live. Feel free to drum along on whatever thing is in front of you whenever you hear the music play. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain,
Matt,
and it's Ian.
You need more syllables, bro.
I know, it's so boring. I'm
Matt.
sorry. I'm not doing that.
That's the Monty Python thing, right?
I don't know. It's been too long for me.
I'll call myself Matt as Yao from now on. It's more like interesting Hebrew version of it.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's a
old reliable right there.
That's a great handle for a radio show or anywhere else, really. The telephone number here is 603-283-6160 if you want to call in, talk about anything that's on your mind. I want to tell you that Bitcoin.com is the best source for learning about cryptocurrency. You can go to Bitcoin.com now and click on Get Started at the top of the page. When you do that, you'll find all sorts of valuable information neatly organized to suit your needs. There's no longer any excuse to ignore this important and world-changing information. If you're already a knowledgeable crypto user, you can check out news.bitcoin.com and get the latest headlines of all the news that's relevant to you. Bitcoin.com is your source for everything crypto, like getting a wallet, mining, trading, all the latest cryptocurrency news, all on a very nice and easy-to-use website. Please visit Bitcoin.com. So during the break, we were looking at some of the coins that this Flexa, who Sheets is partnering with to do the payments, and the Flex is a few years old. Looks like 2.5, maybe 3 tops.
This looks like they're biggie. Like the Sheets, we scrolled through their blog just to see what other things. Yeah, because if there's something big that happens, they would highlight it, presumably on their company blog.
Yep.
And this was really the only thing that jumped out as the big integration. I think this is their big catch,
their first big scale.
Yeah.
I mean, 622.
That's a huge
stores.
rollout.
Yeah, I mean. Like
they better have it together, like you better have done a lot of beta testing on this.
Definitely.
And have a team of crack experts available at the beck and call of all 622 stores.
Yeah.
Hopefully they've hired up for that. I know it's been difficult to find good help these days.
We've had a lot of experience here in Keene, New Hampshire, which is one of the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency hubs as far as local businesses.
Mecca, if you will.
Yeah, a Mecca. It's actually been called that in Forbes magazine, as a matter of fact. Of people who accept cryptocurrency at the local businesses, all like one-off, individual mom and pop kind of local businesses. And it's been a bit of a bumpy ride because, we're still on the cutting edge of technology here, and it doesn't always work perfectly, including the payment systems. So, a lot of times AnyPay, which is what is utilized primarily here, they would have some sort of bug, and ultimately it would kind of fall to the Keene people to figure it out, because we're out there every single day, or at least I used to be. I can't now anymore. But everybody else in town who is not under bail restrictions can still go out and spend their cryptocurrency.
And they do.
And I was just going to say, there are 566 Cumberland Farms locations.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Steven Zeiler should get a product to market that competes with whatever this is.
Yeah, and I imagine AnyPay would like to accomplish that. I forget the article we were talking about that did mention AnyPay.
It was a show that I was hosting, and I didn't even know that AnyPay was mentioned. It was just one of these announcements where such and such is going to take cryptocurrency. So I brought it for show prep. We got into it, and as I was reading it, it was like, and they're going to use AnyPay for their integrations. Yeah. And CEO Derek Horton of AnyPay said blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and I remember it was noteworthy because they were going to keep the crypto. They weren't going to cash out.
Right.
And I've spaced completely on what the hell it was.
We could look it up.
Sorry to whoever you were.
We can look it up either during the break or perhaps when we get a competent third chairperson.
Our research driver. Bitch.
I'm taking a beating here tonight.
Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love. Define Mecca. Mecca is a place that attracts people to it.
Yes, on like a pilgrimage. The Muslims, for instance, they have what they call the Hajj, which is their pilgrimage to Mecca, which is the place for a long time that Muhammad lived.
Right. Or was born in, perhaps?
No, I believe Muhammad, if I recall correctly, was born in Medina. I'm a little rusty on my Muslim or Islamic history.
The first result says a city in Saudi Arabia that was the birthplace of Muhammad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And is the holiest
this is
city
Mecca?
of Islam.
Okay. I guess I had it wrong.
I mean, this is the first, the little bit that Google shows you before it shows you like links to other stuff.
Uh-huh.
So it's possible they're wrong. They've been wrong before.
Maybe it was Medina where he went to temporarily, and then he went back to Mecca.
He found that it was neither funky nor cold. So.
You stole my thunder. I was going to make the same joke.
I actually I didn't run into him, but I was at an airport with Tone Loc at one time.
No way!
I heard his voice.
No
right?
way!
I heard Tone Loc. There's only one Tone Loc, and I heard Tone Loc. I turned around, and there was Tone Loc. Yeah. That's Tampa. I think it was the Tampa airport.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Tampa airport's a likely place to run into Tone Loc, from what I hear. No, I've never heard that before. I'm just saying.
Tone Loc is such a weird name too, because like
it's original.
Is it short for Tony Locomotive? Right?
Tony Loco.
Tony Loco. Tone Loc. All right. So anyway, this convenience store gonna take Bitcoin, gonna use Flexa, gonna let you pay for gas.
I hope that it works out. It's maybe we're there. Maybe we're there now to where there's enough people that are interested in cryptocurrency to where this could be, 1% or 2% or something of their payments. I mean, I feel like that's optimistic, hoping for 1%. Just, given what we see around here, it just,
although let's not underestimate the power of 622 stores.
No doubt. No doubt. At
attracting people who want to pay with crypto.
Yeah, it will be an attraction. There's no doubt about it. I mean, people around here in New Hampshire have been known for going out of their way to spend crypto at a place that accepts it. So I have gone to, there's a gas station over where Jay Noon lives, one of our former co-hosts here, out in Henniker, and it's called the All-in-One Market. And every now and then, like two out of five of the owners, like a family that owns the place, 2 out of the 5 are like young and they're into cryptocurrency. And if they're working, and they work most of the time, they will accept your Bitcoin Cash or Dash payments, but they just do it kind of personally, and then they put their own cash in the drawer.
Right.
But it's good enough for me. I'll call them up if again, prior to my bail conditions, I would call them up and, say, hey, is so-and-so or so-and-so working today? If so, yes, I'd like to pay with crypto. Come on by. And I'd go out of my way. I'd drive out of my way like 10 minutes just so I could buy from the one crypto accepting gas station.
I mean, if you think about it, we go out to eat several times a week for crypto reasons. Even when we're not hungry, we show up at a place and spend the money just because we want to.
Yeah. Before things got all locked down and nasty, there were more opportunities to do so. Now that things have sort of lifted, hopefully we can see a resurgence of those places that got ignored or were otherwise closed or were otherwise too masky for some folks who use cryptocurrency to patronize.
Yeah, I think it's starting to go hyperbolic enough where it doesn't really matter that it's just us going to spend. There's like randos. Malays over at Joaquin Gray. She said that she's got people who aren't us just walking in and asking if they can spend crypto down there. So that
is what I want to see. Yes. That is amazing.
Trevor Filter, an interesting name for the co-founder of payments firm Flexa. His name is Filter. I wonder if he has to filter his speech. Oh, maybe. He detailed that his company looks forward to helping Sheetz roll out digital asset payments at the fuel pumps. Quote, Sheetz is one of the most forward-thinking brands in the business.
Sounds like it.
And understands their customer base better than anyone else.
Yeah, you would think they'd have done some research, right, with their customers on this?
We are absolutely elated that Flexa can help them become the first convenience and retail chain to accept digital currencies directly at the pump, Filter remarked.
Not the first convenience store, the first chain, because we got the first convenience stores in Keene. We got 3 of them
directly at the pump.
Yes, that we don't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, where can I get gas for crypto?
Henniker.
There's the Henniker place. But that's off and on.
Okay. So the other ones are just convenience stores.
Yes. In Keene, we have 3 convenience stores, none of which have gas.
Right. You can get gas if you eat some of their food, though. Oh!
Hey, now.
Hey, them breakfast roll-up taco, look at taquitos or whatever they got
Pretty
at
good.
the Mighty Moose Mart. They're delicious.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. The other 2 don't have hot food. So
correct.
Mighty Moose Mart's the only one.
And the
Campus Convenience, you're right. That place is kind of a...
I don't even know if they take crypto anymore because he got raided.
Well, he didn't get raided. They took.
I hope it didn't spook him.
They took the
I can't speak to him either. They won't let me talk to him.
I actually said hello to them recently in the last couple of days, and they say hello as well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and
I guess they can talk to me.
They're glad that you're out.
Good. Those guys are cool.
I saw them over at the new place that they're at.
Nice.
So 603-283-6160.
That won't do you any good. We're done.
More Free Talk
Oh,
Live.
wait. We got a whole hour. What the hell?
Coming up, hour number 3.
I don't know what time it is.
It's next.
I'm new at this.
The new guy.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Probing the Postmaster. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Postmaster General is the subject of a federal investigation.
Federal prosecutors have launched an investigation of Postmaster General Louis DeJoy about campaign contributions made before his time in public office. A spokesman for DeJoy confirmed the investigation, saying the Justice Department is looking into campaign contributions made by employees who worked for DeJoy in the private sector. DeJoy was appointed to lead the Postal Service during the Trump administration last year. He has faced criticism for policy changes over delays and the handling of mail-in ballots. DeJoy has not been charged with any crime and denies repaying employees for political contributions. It is illegal to reimburse employees to avoid federal campaign contribution limits. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The U.S. will share millions of doses of COVID vaccines with countries that need it. That announcement today from the Biden administration.
Having successfully secured enough supply of vaccine for Americans, we are donating surplus U.S. vaccine supply and encouraging other countries with surplus supplies to do the same.
White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator Jeff Zients, most of the vaccines will be directed to the UN's COVAX program. The announcement coming shortly after the World Health Organization made a new plea for vaccine sharing due to spiking cases of COVID-19 in Africa. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization's vaccines expert says immunizing children is not a high priority given the limited global supply of vaccines, even as growing numbers of wealthy countries authorize the shots for teens and children. Crews searching a cemetery in Tulsa, Oklahoma for victims of the 1921 race massacre say they found 5 more coffins, bringing to 20 the number of coffins found at a mass grave there. The state archaeologist says 30 more bodies could be at the site. America is listening to Fox News.
You're still running your business on QuickBooks? More like quicksand. The bigger your company grows, the faster you sync with outdated software. NetSuite by Oracle is the scalable solution to run all key back-office operations, no matter how big your company grows. 93% of surveyed organizations increased visibility and control since making the switch from QuickBooks to NetSuite. Right now, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program. Head to netsuite.com/Fox. That's special financing at netsuite.com/Fox, netsuite.com/Fox.
A boat that capsized in the Gulf of Mexico with oil workers on board, killing several of them, is being moved so the NTSB can examine it.
The U.S. Coast Guard said the Seacor Power lift boat was on a barge near where it had capsized, but it was being moved to another location so the NTSB investigators could access it. Workers had already removed the fuel and debris surrounding it. Preliminary investigative findings indicate the captain had begun to lower the boat's stabilizing legs to turn into the wind when it flipped. 6 workers were rescued, but 6 others were recovered after they had died, and still 7 more people are missing and presumed dead. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
A boy who vanished from a trailer park in rural Iowa days before his 11th birthday is still missing a week later. Detectives say they are considering several possibilities into what happened to Xavier Harrelson. The FBI has joined in the investigation. New York City's police commissioner is calling for change to the state's criminal justice system as the crime rate climbs.
Commissioner Dermot Shea blames bail reform, urging changes that would prevent dangerous offenders from returning to the streets after a swift release from the court system.
We need help with some of these laws. We cannot be just chasing our tail, catch and release, catch and release.
Highlighting the issue, the recent brutal assault on an unsuspecting Asian woman. The unprovoked attack happened Monday in Chinatown. The perpetrator identified as 48-year-old Alexander Wright. The NYPD revealing he had a long rap sheet, including multiple prior assaults, and had just been released last week.
I'm grateful to have heard from some of our satellite listeners recently. I appreciate knowing that people are out there who like what we do and are willing to support it financially. LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. We started a fundraiser on Patreon a few years ago to back the satellite channels. I recently announced that I was considering canceling the feeds, and donations increased from 15 to 20% of our costs, which are around $1,000 per month. That's a good start, and to incentivize more contributions, the Shire Free Church will be matching every dollar. Can we reach $500 per month? With your help, we can. You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both of the channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Quiet and reserved temp Kevin Bright surprised his coworkers this week when they discovered that the mild-mannered 27-year-old was actually an untalented singer-songwriter.
How did I get here? It's probably a tree.
Bright, who mostly keeps to himself at work, usually spends his free time embarrassing himself at open mics across the city, and that underneath his meek and soft-spoken exterior is a terrible guitarist with no musical sensibility whatsoever.
You see him in the office, he's this quiet, reserved kid, and you would never think, oh, he's got a great voice and a wonderful stage presence, and you'd be totally right.
In other news, an Ohio Film Festival graphic designer decides to go with film reels for the O's. And getting grandma into a family reunion t-shirt is a 3-person job. The entire 144-minute cut of this week's review is available now for just $11.99 on Laserdisc. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Yes, rolling into the 7th and final hour of Free Talk Live tonight. I'm sorry, the 3rd and final hour.
Yes.
Of Free Talk Live. 603-283-6160 is the telephone number if you would like to join us and get your voice on the radio. Talk about anything we're talking about or whatever's on your mind. In the studio tonight, it is myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass.
Matt. And it's Ian.
So we're switching gears. I think we've, sort of gone through all the important Bitcoin-related stuff.
All right.
Including the Ron Paul announcements and all that kind of stuff. He's speaking as we speak. Well, perhaps. I don't know what time he's supposed to actually go on.
Ron Paul speaking at the Miami Bitcoin Conference right now.
With
maybe
an attendance of up to 50,000 people.
Amazing. I mean, it might be time for Bitcoin.
If anybody's there, call us and let us know what's going on there.
Well, our own Mark Edgington.
603-283-6160. Go ahead.
Mark Edgington, co-host here on Free Talk Live, was a regular attendee of this event. So he's been to many a Miami Bitcoin conference.
Well, obviously he's not there due to
he's not there now.
Recent circumstances. But I wanted to talk about this. This is from Forbes, and there have been a few other articles. The headline here is "Swipe Right for Vaccines." The White House partners with popular dating apps to promote COVID-19 shots.
So glad I'm not on these dating apps
now. Like, first of all, I am very tired of hearing all of these incentives to get the jab.
Oh, yeah.
Or the stab, as I'm calling it.
Mm-hmm.
They're offering free beer.
Yeah.
They're offering donuts. They're offering a chance to win millions of dollars. Different places, different millions. You can go to, like...
It's about your health. We'll give you free beer and donuts.
Like, right, yeah. You know, and like burgers and, you know, like all the...
I heard they were giving away a bag of weed in New York City.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a person who's, you know, a little bit obsessed with like entering contests and winning and stuff like that, what's to prevent a person from entering multiples of these? And over getting the stab?
Presumably you have to show identification in order to get the jab.
Right, but
is their record keeping good enough so that they can discern whether you've had it?
I'm guessing they don't run that against the national vaccine database as soon as they get it.
I think it's a state database.
They look at your ID and go, "Okay, Bob, here's the shot."
I believe you were entered into a state database, and so they would then check against the state database to see if you've already received a shot in that case.
You would think that would be what they're supposed to do.
Well, I think supposedly they're doing it because they want to know what percentage, for instance, of people that have received the vaccine. Last I heard when I was in jail, because again, I had a jail radio, so I was able to listen to broadcast mainstream news. I think I heard that like close to 50% of New Hampshire has received either, I believe, both vaccine shots, and like 60% has received, or 50.
Sadly,
some percent have received.
Sadly,
at least
Mark
one.
Edge is the keeper of that type of data. He follows that.
Mm-hmm.
He's big up on the percentage of vaccinated for whatever reason. I don't know.
Well, I was glad to hear that it wasn't quite half.
You know? Yeah, and you know, have you guys been? I don't know, Ian. You probably haven't because of your computer restrictions. But I don't know if you've been following the Anthony Fauci emails thing.
Nope. What's that?
We should mention.
Oh,
go ahead. Dan.
Oh, okay, Captain.
Has
he been caught doing something?
I
naughty?
really don't know much. Other than somebody leaked some emails from Anthony Fauci. I'm sorry, Fauci. I keep saying it right.
Yeah, sure.
Anthony Fauci. And basically they contradict everything that he's ever said.
Yep.
Right? To such an extent that people are making memes about how you need to apologize to your conspiracy theorist friends that you've been ridiculing this whole time.
They've been right the whole time.
Okay, hold on. Clarification. When were these emails sent?
Like in the beginning phases of COVID-19.
Because he was talking different back then, right?
Yes. Substantially different.
Yeah.
He thinks he's saying now are absolutely the opposite, and nothing substantial has changed since then. So
the only thing that has changed since he wrote these emails was the way he talks about the stuff. Like the science hasn't changed. The facts haven't changed. You know, that he used to evaluate, you know, to when he wrote these emails in the first place. And so the data hasn't changed as far as the science is concerned, just what he said and how he said it and what about it has flipped, right? So at first it was, the masks aren't going to do any good for anybody.
That, and he has been exposed as having participated with a Wuhan lab years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. And part of their wargaming at that lab was what would happen if a researcher at the lab had accidentally become infected. So he was already talking about the events that would become COVID-19 several years before the events that became COVID-19 became COVID-19.
I believe some of this revolves around... You remember in the beginning of the whole thing before the lockdowns that there was speculation that this began at the Wuhan lab because of the bats and all that kind of thing?
The Wu flu.
The Wu flu. And then everybody was ridiculed for saying that. Well, there's some evidence there that now the powers that be are like, well, there may be some truth to the fact that it may have started there. And so that's why these memes are coming out and saying, you know, you should apologize to your conspiracy.
So not only is he implicated in basically lying about, you know, the efficacy of masks and then unlying about it and then re-lying about it and all kinds of other things. Now it looks like he may have actually had some contacts. Yeah, some investment in that lab in China there a long time ago. Not even that long ago.
Surprise.
Yeah. So, and this is the same guy. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show before, but somebody made me watch a documentary called House of Numbers, and it was actually pretty hard to find on the internet.
Yeah.
But have you seen it, Captain?
Is it up on library?
I am probably. I found it on
or whatever libraries calling themselves these days.
Odyssey.
Odyssey. Thank you. Yes.
I think I actually ended up finding it on like just a documentary website.
Yeah.
Like they only hold documentaries.
I have not watched it.
But it's about the AIDS crisis in the 80s and 90s and all over the world.
And it shows a very young Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Guess who was right at the center of all that and how much corruption was involved with it. I never realized how corrupt that was.
The AZT era. Right?
Yeah, it was basically killing people. Yeah. And Anthony Fauci was dead center of that whole thing. Denying.
Dr. Death.
Was he still like a government doctor back then too?
Oh yeah, it's all he's ever done.
Yeah, I don't know that he's ever had a non-government job.
Doctor job, yeah.
So just real quickly, since we're talking about it, we'll go with, I don't know, NPR or CNN? Your choice, Ian.
NPR.
NPR it is. Fauci emails, 5 things we learned. We'll skip through the introduction.
I mean, either way, we're dealing with leftist propaganda.
Well, yeah, that's true. I'm looking for the 5 things. Of course, they don't number them at all. Okay, fine. We'll look for the bold print. Americans wrote to Fauci with very specific questions about what to do. Fauci offered advice. So in Tampa, somebody wrote to Fauci asking for a prediction of what the effects of the virus would be then, July 2020. He said, "There's no way of knowing for sure. I would wait until May and see what the dynamics of the outbreak are globally and make your decision then whether or not to cancel." I don't know, cancel what?
Probably travel plans.
Yeah. He pushed back on suggestions that the Trump White House was muzzling him. So on March 8th, 2020, AIDS activist, Yale University epidemiologist Greg Gonsalves emailed Fauci along with Robert Redfield and the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, blah, 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 blah. And they wrote, "There are thousands of people waiting for advice from our federal government on broader social distancing measures in light of the fact that our failure in early testing and surveillance means the coronavirus is likely already spreading in our communities. All we see is genuflection in word and deed from most of you to a White House that wants all this to magically go away," he went on. Fauci replied a few hours later, "Greg, I'm surprised that you included me in your note. I genuflect to no one but science and always speak my mind when it comes to public health. I have consistently corrected misstatements by others and will continue to do so." So, yeah, a little bit. Falsey, I think, is the correct pronunciation. Dr. Anthony Fauci. 603-283-6160. What was your favorite misstatement by Dr. Anthony Fauci? More Free Talk Live coming up.
The Terran Federation and the Terran League have been killing each other for decades. Sheltered, wealthy, and light years from the threat, the members of the 500 have no interest in changing that. When Rear Admiral Terrence Murphy is given governorship of a backwater system, a risk-free path to wealth and power is his for the taking. But Murphy is a man of honor, duty, and responsibility. He intends to stop the killing, whatever the cost. Governor, by David Weber and Richard Fox, from BaneBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com.
They tried to bury us, but they didn't realize that we were seeds. They tried to bury us, but they didn't realize that we were seeds. That's a paraphrasing.
Zing.
That's the importance of decentralization in a nutshell.
That's what nobody said, I heard. Somebody told me that.
I cannot confirm or deny whether anybody or nobody or somebody said that.
He didn't say it to me. I just heard that he said that.
I can only tell you that I'm paraphrasing the quote because I don't think I wrote it down right.
That was pretty good.
This is Free Talk Live. The telephone number here is 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass,
Matt,
and Ian.
You can join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021.
Coming up fast.
At Rogers Campground. It really is. Like, holy cow. Just around the corner.
It's been so, like, I can't wait. And now I don't know if I'm all ready yet. Like, slow down time. I don't know if I'm ready for pork. I've got stuff
hold on. Yeah, things are in the hopper that I haven't, yeah. I have ideas all the time for things to do for ForkFest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing none of them. I'm just going to go and have a good time. That's my plan.
Good plan.
Just going to show up and enjoy myself because... Well, last year I did a thing and it kind of occupied most of the time that I was there.
Right.
It was fun and totally worth it. I had a great time, but it's
nice to just hang out.
If I don't have a thing to do. It's the closest to vacation I'm probably going to get all summer.
Yeah.
So.
My favorite thing to do at PorkFest, since like I've been doing it for a couple years now, maybe 3 years, is vend. Like I love to vend, and the reason
you meet people.
Yeah, you meet people. Like I'm used to going to PorkFest and you meet people because you walk around, you're up and down the hills, and and it's great. But when you vend,
they come to you.
They come to you.
Yeah,
and they just put out a picnic table, put a little canopy over it. They sit there and talk to you for hours and buy your stuff, and
you sell out.
And I sell out.
Yeah.
But I bring a good product that is cheap.
Well, there's no ticket cost and no one is in charge at ForkFest. All you have to do is reserve your camping site, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. And I can't think of a better place to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire.
Is our ad copy out of date? I've heard rumors that Rogers is sold out.
Rumors are false.
They're false. Okay.
Rumors are false. Somebody in one of the chats that I'm in called Rogers Campground.
Okay.
So whoever
is it true for the Porcupine Freedom Festival?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, PorkFest, PORC.
That's the week prior.
Yeah, the Porcupine Freedom Festival is sold out.
That's the 21st through the 27th.
Correct. Right? But there are still sites available for ForkFest.
Nice.
And if you are one who enjoys the luxuries in life, they have a large motel at Rogers Campground. And I mean, I don't know how many rooms, but 50, 100 rooms? I don't know.
There's two of them.
It's a lot.
There's an upper and a lower
that's
motel.
right. They might have more than that. They might have, wow, yeah. So
it might be 100 rooms. I don't know.
So, if you're not into the, RV thing or the camping thing, tenting and that kind of thing, why, they do have a motel as well.
I'm calling it 60. I bet they got 60 rooms.
You can find out more at the unofficial website, forkfest.party, where you can connect with other attendees and also find the unofficial Telegram chat and the unofficial ForkFest forum. Again, links to those at forkfest.party. We hope to see you there. Come party with the captain. It's going to be a good time. All right. Who are we talking about? Oh, Anthony Falsey. I'm sorry, Anthony Fasci.
What else is there to know about this guy? He's a politician combined with a doctor. I mean, how much, it's terrible.
He's the worst thing there ever was. He's a bureaucrat. Well, he's worse than a politician because he's just hired. He's not even elected.
Yeah, but it's still political.
Totally.
It's still a political position. He's got to schmooze. He's got to schmooze to get that.
He's literally a fascist. He's the puppet of an industry that works for government.
Right. I heard him because I was again listening to the jail radio, and the nights I couldn't listen to Free Talk Live, sometimes I would tune into NPR, which I've not listened to much NPR in my life up until this point. And of course, they're very pro-vaccine, very pro-obedience, and they interviewed this Fauci guy. And all about all right, well, how do we get the rest of the world to take the vaccine? Because now they're happy, relatively happy with how many Americans have been, hooked into this.
What is International Horde Day?
That's right.
But apparently some countries only have 1%, like the Philippines only has 1% that have taken the vaccine. So this guy's literally pushing this vaccine on the entire planet.
He's got his hands in the pockets. That's
the vaccine makers?
Gotta be.
Yeah.
That's what he did with AIDS. That's what it was. If you watch that House of Numbers documentary I recommended, it's pretty clear that that's what's going on with this one too.
I was just trying to see if there was somebody who pointed out anything specific about the emails that, were either contrary or otherwise damning. But, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Apparently, he said some things to Trump that are disputed or confirmed. This technically was not a leak. They were obtained through a FOIA request.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
So he was using state emails, so it was public record.
Yeah.
There's actually a meme of Hillary Clinton leaning over and handing him a note. They're sitting in school desks, and Anthony Fauci reaches his hand back, and the note says, "You should have deleted the emails."
Yeah, Hillary would know something about emails, wouldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
You would think. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the point of the story is, Falsey, Fasci, whatever. Those names fit him more than his given name. Our co-host, who is on a bit of a hiatus, Richie Rich, sent us this from the WashingtonTimes.com. Exclusive. Sly smuggler uses Border Patrol for free trips home. So imagine that, you're smuggling something into the U.S. and you're an illegal, person here, right? You're from Mexico or something, and you smuggle some stuff over, and you're like, well, I want to get home. I want to get home really quick. I could
get arrested.
I could either like book a plane or rent a car, or I could turn myself in.
How is that quick? I mean,
I don't know.
I would think they would put you in some sort of a detention for a period of time, but maybe I just don't know how the system works.
I have questions as well. Have you heard of this?
No, but it's hilarious. I love it.
Tell me more.
In the category of not all crooks are stupid, one accused migrant smuggler figured out an ingenious way to cut in half the time it took him to get back to Mexico from the U.S. to prepare for his next load of people. He turned himself in to the Border Patrol. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government is not holding and prosecuting illegal immigrants. Instead, it is either catching and releasing. Are they fish? These are human beings. Instead, it's either catching and releasing or quickly expelling them to Mexico by busing them to the border and ushering them through a border crossing. Javier Ernesto Ayala Osuna, who authorities say is a foot guide for groups of illegal immigrants, would walk 16 hours from the border deep into the U.S. He realized he could get a free trip back to the border just by turning himself into the border officer.
I'm guessing this plan didn't work very well over time, because that's why we're hearing about it.
Well, we'll find out that and a bunch more here on Free Talk Live. More on the way.
Carl Watner, longtime proponent of a voluntary society, died last December. You may have seen his articles published on his website, voluntarist.com, in his newsletter, The Voluntarist, the Mises Institute, or elsewhere over the last 40 years. His newest book, I Must Speak Out, Volume 2, The Best of the Voluntarist, is now available via Liberty Under Attack Publications. This 430-page second volume spans the years of 2000 through 2020 and includes articles by Carl Watner, Hans Hermann Hoppe, Carl Hess, Benjamin Tucker, George H. Smith, Lysander Spooner, Pete Eyre, Joyce Brand, and many others. I Must Speak Out is for the newly initiated, the veteran voluntarist, or anywhere in between. Buy the book now at libertyunderattack.com/voluntarist. For more great content on building a voluntary society and for Carl's extensive archives, check out voluntarist.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Breaking weather news. Belize is sunny and around 82 degrees every day this week.
What's the forecast for your life? If current politics and economic prospects are cramping your freedom, escape to the tropics. ECI Development has affordable second homes for you to own or rent in Belize and other tropical countries. Places with stable governments and growing economies. Secure your freedom now. To find out more, send an email to ftl@ecidevelopment.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live.
Welcome back to Free Talk Live. Talk radio that you can control. If you want to do that, dial 603-283-6160. The word dial is outdated. We need like a new word for dial.
Because it's not a dial anymore?
Yeah, it's press the buttons in this order. Press the numbers on your keypad in the following sequence. 603 283-6160.
I don't know. I don't think dial has lost its meaning.
Nah, it's a colloquialism at this point.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't mean the thing that it is, though.
Right.
Yeah, which is evolution, right? Evolution of the technology.
Mm-hmm.
In the studio tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass. Joining me,
Matt.
It's Ian.
So this smuggler, this Mexican smuggler, came up with a unique way of getting back home after he walked people across the border. Apparently that was his method of smuggling people, was just being their foot guide, and, you know, going through places that were, you know, unmanned by border patrol or otherwise, you know, a little glitch in the matrix that they've put up of their security at the border. And he would walk them across, and then he would turn himself in. And according to this article from WashingtonTimes.com, because of COVID, or during the quote pandemic unquote, they would just bus immigrants back over the line without, you know, any rigmarole, any hubbub, any what to do.
So how many times did this work until it didn't?
It's a good question. Smugglers are always looking at policy changes in the U.S. and angling for ways to turn them to their advantage. The return trip scam is the latest in a long line of tactics that allow smugglers to slip through the holes in the nation's defenses, because we need to defend ourselves from people looking for a better life.
How dare those people come here and try to work hard?
Anybody who says these people are taking our jobs, right? Like, if
anyone who says that isn't paying attention, because these people who are coming here are wonderful and they're taking jobs that no one wants. I mean, thank goodness those folks are coming over here.
Which is the truth. Doug Stanhope has a great bit about that too. He talks about, because he lives like right on the Mexico border.
Oh, really?
They like walk through his yard.
Bixby, Arizona or something?
Yeah, Bixby, Arizona, right. And when they come in, they're walking literally like up his street.
He must have forgotten.
Like, if you are the type of person to have the job, if you're going to lose a job to these people who are wearing their shoes on the wrong feet.
And they can't speak English.
And they can't speak English, and they're dirty, and they've been walking through desert for days and hours. You don't deserve the job.
Yeah.
By the way, what happened with old Doug Stanhope's Free State Project membership? Isn't he supposed to be moving up here? He must have forgot.
I'll have to remind him.
I don't have his contact info. Do you?
Nope.
I haven't talked to him in a while. We go, you know, no, I've never met him.
He's supposed to be a Free State Project participant.
Is the FSP actively still calling people? And
I have no clue.
Interesting.
I presume.
I don't know either. I didn't join that. I didn't sign that.
I heard the Free State Project executive director is no longer and is moved back to Florida, sadly.
I've heard that too, although I don't know who it was and or who replaced him or her.
Vince Perfetto, who's a great activist. I was really happy to see that he had gotten the job as executive director as of February. He was in that role, and he was in that role, I guess, sometime during 2020, and he gave a great speech at the Free State Project's final. Like they had the 5-year window of time to move started in 2016 and it ended in February of this year.
Yeah.
And they had an event to sort of celebrate that. And Vince gave a great speech about the numbers of how many people had moved in 2020, a record number of people. And he had like great plans to, increase the numbers in 2021. And then I got a letter from Mark Warden while I was in jail. And Mark's like, yep, looks like Vince has quit being the executive director and is moving to Florida.
Huh. I wonder what spurred that on.
I don't know. I would love to hear what happened because it's sad. It's sad news.
Well, how many people was the Free States Project supposed to get? What was the number they were after?
20,000.
20,000, and they got at least two.
I think we're well over that now.
2,000.
I think we're way past that now.
You think?
Oh man, people are moving in here constantly.
Yeah, but you're counting people who aren't from the Free State Project.
No, I'm just looking at the numbers in the actual Free State Project group. On Facebook, there's a lot of people moving.
I think we're going to see a record number this year as well.
Absolutely,
more so than last year.
And Porkfest this year is going to be massive.
Yeah,
apparently.
I think it's finally time for people to, the 2020 COVID crackdowns was a big wake up.
Yeah,
for a
that
lot
should
of
have been
folks.
like, hey, you got to do what you're going to do now.
We had more people visit in Keene in 2020 than I can recall in recent years combined. So given the number of visitors we had last year, then I think we're going to see a lot of people. That's going to translate into a lot of people moving up here this year. Yeah, but it doesn't look good when the executive director resigns and leaves.
Yeah.
And, with regards to moving, we know from experience that, libertarians sometimes aren't the most punctual people. So, if you gave them 5 years to move, they might move in year 6.
Okay.
Possible.
Well, better late than never. Come on up.
Absolutely. And, there is such a thing as libertarian standard time. So, I mean, punctuality is subjective.
That's what I was saying.
Right.
So anyway, this guy, Border Patrol agent Wesley, we're talking about this smuggler guy who would walk people as a guide, across the border, and then he would turn himself in to get a, quote, free ride, unquote, back to Mexico, where he would do it all over again.
Hilarious. He's got to have sick calves,
Brilliant, man. It's brilliant. You would think so.
But what's the but?
Well, Border Patrol agent Wesley Cornue, C-O-R-N-U-E, told a federal court that Mr. Ayala probably pulled the trick at least 6 times over 1 month.
Hey, all right. That's probably a little too often. They're gonna recognize you at some point.
Agents caught him on May 16th with a group of 4 people after they were alerted to the scam by 2 other migrants who said he had guided them into the country. So
snitched. They snitched him out.
What bastards?
That's too bad.
He helped them get across the border, and they're like, quote, I must credit the smuggler for his ingenuity in exploiting the highly naive American system of limitless, no-consequence turnbacks, said Ton Bensman, a senior national security fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies who keeps a close eye on smuggling activities. In Mr. Ayala's case, Border Patrol agents nabbed him 6 times from mid-April to mid-May, each time at the same part of the border. U.S. law allows for the prosecution of illegal border crossers. The first instance is a misdemeanor, and repeat offenses are felonies.
Damn.
But the pace of prosecutions depends on political will in Washington and the capacity and will of prosecutors on the ground to pursue the cases. Prosecutions have all but dried up during the pandemic, Mr. Bensman said. The Trump and Biden administrations didn't want to crowd more people into federal prisons. Side note, they apparently have no problem with the unaccompanied children being kept on a military base in Texas.
They're trying to crowd some crypto people into federal prisons, so they're clearly not concerned with that.
They sure are. Mr. Bensman said, it's time to rethink that policy. With the majority of Americans now vaccinated and all pandemic metrics in a steep decline, the administration should keep Title 42 turnbacks, but institute consequence-based rules that will reduce repetitive illegal border entries and abuses, he said.
Or we could just, have freedom to travel and let people come here who want to make a better life for themselves. Wouldn't that be nice?
I mean, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
It makes sense.
What planet are you from?
Apparently, that's not going to happen at any point in the foreseeable future because the Republicans and Democrats sure do love themselves a border patrol.
Yeah.
I mean, they try to act like the Democrats are somehow, different than the Republicans on this, but they're still putting kids in camps.
I comment almost every time this subject is brought up, but human beings are the only animals that are required to produce any sort of thing before they cross a imaginary border created by states.
They didn't even used to be. That's a newer thing. Passports are newer technology.
Yeah, they started World War II.
That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true.
If we were to take a passport back to the old days, they would say, "What on earth happened?"
Yeah.
I mean, I have lived 49 years on this planet, and I'm saying, what on earth has happened? I do not understand why people don't understand what freedom is and how to get it. 603-283-6160. If you understand these things, please give us a call. This is Free Talk Live. On March 16th of this year, a joint government task force raided the New Hampshire Bitcoin Embassy, the Mighty Moose Mart, the homes of Aria DiMezzo, Andy and Renee Spinella, Colleen Fordham, a grandmother, and perhaps most relevant, the studios of Free Talk Live. The Crypto Six were arrested, most were released, but Rich Paul, also known as Nobody, and Ian Freeman both remain in custody. We've been in contact with attorneys that say no crime even appears to have been committed, but that didn't stop the Joint Thug Task Force from ripping out wires from the back of our broadcast stacks, taking Free Talk Live off the air, violating our and your First Amendment rights. You can go to thecrypto6.com and donate to fight against these charges. But as importantly, contact media and tell them about this outrage. This case is likely to set precedent for the use of cryptocurrency well into the future. Help our fight for liberty and financial freedom at thecrypto6.com.
After a devastating war, the alien visitors were driven back, and their willing human collaborators were left behind to face the music. When Emma Jean Anderson's ex-lover brings her from prison, Nathan Foster and his 14-year-old nephew Ben are tasked with bringing the pair to justice. An easy enough job until they discover something is inside Emma Jean, and the fate of the planet hangs in the balance. The Family Business by Mike Coopery from BaneBooks.com.
Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm. Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
Where did the time go? Final segment of Free Talk Live.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's what did the frog say to the other frog? Time sure is fun when you're having flies. I got dad jokes here on Free Talk Live. Yes, it is Free Talk Live, in case you were wondering just what the heck you were listening to. If you've missed any of tonight's program, we're here 7 nights a week from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
You can download them if you want. Anytime.
You can.
freetalklive.com.
Thank you.
Trying to help.
I appreciate that. Do you want to thank an amplifier?
Yeah, please. Who?
Would you like to thank him?
I would, but I don't know who it is.
It's here. I'll let you read it.
That person there?
It's that guy, the one on Thursday.
Thursday. That JC guy.
That's the guy.
Is a platinum amplifier, which means he's given at least $25 a month to the amp program. Thank
Awesome.
you, that JC guy.
What is an amp?
It is someone who is helping advertise, market, and promote, hence the name AMP, Free Talk Live. And that helps us do things like get on more radio stations and bring more people to the ideas of freedom.
I know the last time I heard we were on around 200 radio stations, but we could be on more.
I don't know. I've been in jail, so
we could be on more. We could be on 300 radio stations, maybe more.
Yeah.
It's all up to you if you visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Thanks, dudes and dudettes.
Let's go to the phones. We have David from New Mexico calling. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
No, it's less free or less. Oh hell! Now you screwed me up.
Les Freeman.
Yeah, no. In honor of Les Freeman, I am Les Moore. 4 slugs from a 44. No less, no more.
Is that a song lyric?
It's a Boot Hill inscription in Tombstone, Arizona.
Ah, okay.
Tombstone. That's a pizza, right?
It's also a place.
Yeah.
And a movie. Great movie.
And a thing.
That's true.
What's on your mind, David?
Let's see. Money laundering and conditions of release.
So the hardest thing I find about money laundering is remembering not to use bleach, because you get all your dollar bills all bleached out, and then people don't want to accept them when you spread them around town.
And it always sticks to the inside of the machine, and you lose some because it's just glued to the inside of the washer.
I was laundering money at the laundromat the other day, and when I took all of my money out of the dryer, I found a sock.
Oh, that's awesome.
Finally.
Oh, no.
That's where that went.
And we go ahead, David.
It's notable that Ian, your conditions of release, and I have a question on that, but you are not allowed to spend cryptocurrency. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can't spend it. I can't access any website that would allow me to exchange it or do any sort of thing with it, basically.
But you are allowed to spend fiat currency. Is that correct?
Yes, no restrictions. I can spend as much fiat money as I can get my hands on, which so far I've actually not touched any.
Wow. So that seems to be, since they're both considered basically currency, that seems to be an arbitrary decision, which is frowned upon in the courts, which leads me back to my original question. And if I was you, it would be a conversation that I would have been having with my attorney, and that is in negotiating for my release on bail, where is it set in law? Where is the prescription in law, in black and white, that prescribes the parameters within the judge can exercise discretion, and outside of which those parameters, the judge cannot exercise any discretion outside of those parameters, like, for instance, that that I'm allowed to spend fiat but not other currencies?
Well, it's a great question. I think that this is one of those things where the prosecution and the defense agreed to the terms, and basically the idea was we will agree to whatever because I want to get out is essentially the idea, and then we will challenge them later. So I expect that we will be challenging these things based on a variety of aspects. Number one, it is against my religion to be forced to use fiat currency.
Dirty war money.
Yep. And so, I'm a peace minister, and it is fiat money promotes war. So that I would like to have, undone. And it's also a violation of free speech and the right to association, in my opinion. So I think there's a bunch of different aspects we could challenge this on.
I'm glad to hear you say it, because that was on my checklist, was to ask you if you have plans, you and your attorney, for filing any motion to revise your conditions of release.
Yes.
And keeping in mind the question that I posed as to where is it prescribed, what the parameters of discretion are for the judge. And it occurs to me another piece of other case to cite would be the Amish, who are excused from something that the rest of us are not excused from, which would be the Social Security system, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, at least, if not other restrictions and taxes and such.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a tax, and a financial thing, a tax. The rest of us are required by law to pay it, and they are excused for a certain reason, which I know what the reasons are, but their whole operation is based on religion. It's their religious beliefs that prescribe how they live, which is not conducive to meshing seamlessly with the outside world, the English, as the Amish call the rest of us. And so on religious basis, they're excused from the Social Security system.
I've heard that.
Are they excused from anything else related to the government?
Yeah, raves. Oh, and the government? Well, they're excused from getting busted at an illegal rave.
Do they pay income tax, the Amish?
I don't think they. Well, I don't know, and they probably, obviously they are paying some taxes, yeah, because they got a hell of a lot of farmland that there's no way they're getting away without paying taxes on that farmland. And as to their income, I don't know, because they do a lot of in-kind trading, so I don't know what kind of deal they have worked.
Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it, man.
Churn the butter with your left hand. I was just thinking of Weird Al and Amish Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Florence Henderson that he got?
I don't know. I'm aware of the song. That's a little after my time watching Weird Al.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You missed out on Amish Paradise?
I mean, I've heard the song. I don't know about the video.
The video is probably, without the video, that song probably wouldn't have been as good. But the video really makes it. Yeah, good video.
The first music I ever bought was Weird
Al.
Really?
Yep.
Which one?
Yep. I can't remember. It was the one with Michael Jackson's "Eat It" on it.
Yeah.
Beat It. All my friends went out with their allowance and they bought Run DMC "Raising Hell."
Right.
Which was a legend. I bought Weird Al.
Which, when Run DMC's "Raising Hell" came out, I was like, "Is this the place bad raisins go when they die?"
Did you get it on cassette?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, cassette even.
Yep.
Mr. Fan. Now, did you? Was it the same program on both sides, or different? Side one, side two.
I think it was side one, side two. There was a few songs.
He had enough songs for that.
Yep.
The first heavy metal cassette that I ever owned was Slayer's "Rain in Blood," and because they're or at least they were such an amazingly fast band, they put I think it's 8 songs.
All fit on one side.
They all fit on one side. So I finally worked up enough money to, my allowance savings and all that kind of stuff to buy an Emerson boombox with auto reverse. So I didn't have to take the cassette out, right? And so then I heard it do its thing. It goes, right? It makes these mechanical noises when it's switching the heads over to play the other side. And much to my demise, the same program played again on the other side. And I was like, I've gotten ripped off. There's only one side of music here. I was like, Slayer ripped me off, man.
Which should be the name of your next album.
Slayer ripped me off, man.
I came up with...
Still bitter after all these years.
I came up with, it's a quote from Clerks 2, and it spells Scars. It's a name for a punk band. Sex Crazed and Retard Strong. I thought that'd be a great punk band name. You could carry that way too far. But it also is an acronym, so you could get the non-offensive T-shirts, and then you could spell it all out for the offensive T-shirts, and then let your customers,
broad market appeal,
fans choose. Yes, indeed, broad market appeal. Is that, are you being sexist?
It's International Horse Day.
And once again, we bring it all full circle. We kicked off the night,
tie it up,
talking about International Horse Day, and it looks like, well, we may just wrap up the show if I can continue talking about International Horrors Day for the next 15 maybe 20 seconds in some way, shape, or form.
Where's Mark when you need him?
Where is Mark when you need him? I wonder if he knows any international horrors.
Doesn't he travel internationally? I'm pretty sure he does.
Do they accept Monero?
Perhaps he is an international horror.
That was what I was suggesting.
And we just don't know about it yet. He's just a gigolo, and everywhere he goes, people know the part he's playing. That's it. We're out of time. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Visit us at freetalklive.com. Thanks, and peace.
After a devastating war, the alien visitors were driven back, and their willing human collaborators were left behind to face the music. When Emma Jean Anderson's ex-lover brings her from prison, Nathan Foster and his 14-year-old nephew Ben are tasked with bringing the pair to justice. An easy enough job until they discover something is inside Emma Jean, and the fate of the planet hangs in the balance. The Family Business by Mike Coopery from BaneBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market,